And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank you for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over the mainstream media, social media, everywhere. And where do we begin? Shout out to Johnny Depp for winning the case. Well, for winning some of the case, I guess you would say. Amber Heard won some, but he won, I guess you would say, the most important things. I didn't really follow that case all the way through, but I saw some of it. I saw quite a bit of it, actually. It was a whole big mess. That's basically what I could say about that. But shout out to Johnny Depp. Also, H3H3 podcast got suspended for a week for threatening the NRA convention. Well, at least Ethan Klein threatened the NRA convention live on the show, and they got suspended for a week. But I would presume if that was any one of us that did something like that, there'd be a much more severe penalty. Somebody might go to the penitentiary. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, Canada has pretty much banned all weapons. Well, I don't want to say all weapons. Let me just get it right. All handguns. Talking about, okay, it's going to be a handgun freeze, a pause on handgun ownership. We'll talk about that. Also, Lia Thomas, the trans swimmer from UPenn, then came out and spoke Zier's piece. Nancy Pelosi's husband getting caught drunk driving. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet, and I couldn't do it without you. If you enjoy what you've heard so far, if you enjoy the content, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're listening to your favorite your audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc., please give me a 5-star rating, a review, a share, whatever you can over there. And as I just said, this is a podcast you're listening to right now live or pre-recorded, and it's available on those aforementioned platforms. I'll post the audio version of this at 8 a.m. the next day. So if it's the Wednesday show, it'll be at 8 a.m. Thursday. If it's a Saturday show, it'll be at 8 a.m. Sunday. That's how it goes. So check me out on those platforms. Give me a like right here if you're watching live on YouTube. And what else we got going on? Shout out to the sponsors, of course. As always, y'all know how I do at the very beginning of my shows. I have new sponsors eventually, but I just like my sponsors I got right now. I'm comfy with them. You know, I always get emails. I might get some more. So shout out to me. You know, my particular websites, you guys got to know. I have the YouTube channel. I have the other social media platforms, but the website is my website. They can't do nothing with that. They can't say, oh, well, you can't put that on there and you're going to get shadow banned and censored. It's my website. What you going to do? You might try to downrank it in Google and whatnot, but if somebody wants to go to anthonyblogan.com, that is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com, and read whatever they want to read, share whatever they want to share, then nobody can stop you. So for each video that I produce, I write an article. And sometimes there's some things in the video, in the article that I could not necessarily put in the video. Like there's clips and whatnot I got to edit and take out cursing and certain graphic scenes, but I could put those on the website. Again, anthonyblogan.com. Also go to the contact page to find my email address, my snail mail address. You can send me physical items on my UPS box. Was it UPS box? Yeah, UPS box. That'll be on the website on the contact page. Also, you can find my social media, my Instagram, my Facebook, and Twitter, all on the contact page. And the IG is growing. My IG is at like 80-something thousand. We're trying to get that to 100,000. I neglected Instagram for so long. I didn't even have IG for a long time. I was kind of bitter about IG. I don't want to go down that story. IG kind of killed my old career. You know, because when IG came along, I was doing club flyers and stuff. I was printing and designing and shipping and stuff like that. And once IG came, it just killed that whole thing. What's the point in getting 5,000 flyers? You could just go to Instagram and post a picture that your cousin had made in his Chevy Tahoe from 2001, and you could just do it that way. It killed my whole thing. So I didn't get on IG, probably because of that, and I was just a late adopter to stuff. I did not get my first smartphone like this I did not get like this kind of smartphone until 2018. Like seriously, I had a BlackBerry up until I say 2018. Real talk. And then when I got my first smartphone, it was like a blue phone. Like it wasn't even like one of the top people. It wasn't a Samsung or iPhone or anything like that. But we're getting way off into the weeds, so I will go ahead and digress. The point is that you can find all my social media accounts on my contact page, anthonybelogan.com/contact. And also shout out to my other sponsors. We have bhedesigns.com. They make these beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me. And if you can't see them because listen to the audio only, just go to bhedesigns.com. Again, bhedesigns.com. Go to the website, look at the beautiful wooden flags made right here in America, and pick the flag that you want. Tell them I sent you. They'll hook you right on up. Also, go to patriotpost.us. A lot of you guys always ask about a good source of news and information. Patriot Post is where you want to go. Again, patriotpost.us. So those are all the sponsors. Somebody says, what phone do I have now? I have an iPhone and a Samsung. The iPhone, that's just more for like communication with people, family and friends and whatnot, because everybody got iPhone. They want to FaceTime and stuff. And the Samsung is for like actual production, putting out content. That's what the Samsung is for. The Samsung is for, when I'm on Twitter and I'm on all these places and I'm on Instagram and I got to make stuff, and that's what the Samsung is for. It's for working. The iPhone is just for communication with other people. And I think the iPhone is also better at video a little bit than the Samsung. And they're both the newest versions of each. So, I don't really have a bias. I'm not an Apple fanboy or a Samsung. I get whatever works. I don't really care about the brand loyalty, nothing like that. You're not going to see me with an Apple tattooed on my face. It ain't that kind of party. This ain't no with Apple gang. I don't know how to make a little Apple sound on my fingers. But anyway, I digress. Let's jump into the topics and what we got going on today, because there's a whole lot. There is a whole lot happening. Now, I'm gonna get to Johnny Depp a little bit later. I'll get to that. And quite frankly, about Johnny Depp, before I get to it, without getting into it, but I am gonna get into it a little bit. I did not really follow that case very closely, but I did catch some of the key points. So again, I'll get to that a little bit later. So let's start with first things first. Let's start with Nancy Pelosi's husband. Now, I just was watching Fox. I just happened to be downstairs and the television was on Fox. I forgot I had it on. It was just on. I don't watch a lot of TV, really. I watch TV to see some of the news stories. Like, I like to see what the mainstream media are talking about, just so I kind of get an understanding of what they're trying to push in their narrative and whatnot. So I do watch mainstream media sometimes for that reason, not to actually be informed, if that makes any sense. But anyway, so I'm watching Fox and Jesse Waters is on. And he's saying, hey, we cannot get a hold of Paul Pelosi's mugshot. And I was trying to find, okay, I make all my thumbnails for my videos, right? So when the Paul Pelosi story came across my desk, I'm like, okay, he got arrested, he got booked and had to get released on bond or bail, whatever you want to call it. Like, I was like, $5,000. So if you get booked at, let's say it's 3:00 in the morning, and released 7:00 in the morning, or whatever it was. It might have been 4:00, 3:00, released 7:00. You're booked and then released 2 or 3 hours later, maybe 4 hours later. There's got to be a mugshot, fingerprints, all of that stuff. That's what they do when they take you in, right? So why is it that there's all these websites where people can go and browse all the mugshots every time Dick and Harry to get arrested? Okay, you get arrested for peeing in public. You get arrested for expired tags or whatever you get arrested for. We're talking about, traffic stuff. You're getting arrested for all these things, little ticky-tack stuff, and you check the website in the morning, there you are. There's your mugshot right there on the site. So I'm just like, okay, well, there should be a mugshot of Paul Pelosi. So right when I made the thumbnail, I immediately searched Paul Pelosi mugshot. And I didn't find anything. All I found was pictures of him and Nancy and a couple by himself. I'm like, oh, okay. Like instantly, right away, I thought to myself, they're trying to hide that mugshot. They don't want that to be out there. They're trying to hide it because it has to be released. In order for a mugshot to be released, it's got to get approved to be released. It can't just, it's not an automatic thing where it just gets posted to a website. It has to get released. Now, I don't know what the process is, but apparently if you jaywalk or you sell a candy bar, there's no real process to go through. I mean, do you have a lawyer you're going to talk to? It's like, all right, Mr. Crackhead, I know you're out here, you're homeless and your mental health is not very good. So you don't have a lawyer. We're going to go ahead and just put the mugshot out there. There's no conversation like that. They're just going to do it. But in Paul Pelosi's case, you can't get it. Now, Jesse Waters was talking about how Fox News tried to get it. They tried. I think they contacted the jail. Then they said, okay, call the sheriff. And then the sheriff said, call the city council. And then when they called city council, they got the runaround. Then they submitted some kind of request. It wasn't a FOIA request yet. It did the FOIA request at the end of it for, I think, something else. But they submitted some kind of formal request to get the mugshot. And then the response they got back was, well, since Paul Pelosi is not here in the Napa Valley jail, then since he's not here, then there's no need to release the mugshot. It was something like that. Please don't quote me on it. But basically they were saying because he's not in the jail right now, they won't put out the mugshot. But that's so silly because all the time you see these websites with people that are not in jail with the mugshots released. So what's going on with that? You took the picture of him. You took his mugshot, put it out to the public. You don't want to release it. See, this is what I'm talking about with these politicians. They have so much power, they could do whatever they want. A normie, a regular person, will have their mugshot released. Okay, if you forgot to bring your shopping cart back, like let's say you living in one of these LA ghettos, and by the way, LA, I hate it, big ghetto, unless you're up in the hills somewhere and these Instagram picturesque scenes, LA is completely ghetto, but I digress. So the ground level of Los Angeles is very ghetto. And let's just say you happen to live there and you don't have a car, but the grocery store is like 2-3 blocks away, and you're getting groceries. I saw this one time on Judge Alex, of all shows in the world. Now, this girl was in court because she did not return her shopping cart in a timely fashion. Like, okay, here's the story. So the girl went to the store, got some items, and took the cart back to her house. But she was going to bring it back. And I think there was an altercation that happened in between her taking the cart back. It was just so weird. But just taking the cart from the store, that's enough to be in court over. And you probably would get arrested, and there's going to be a mugshot over a shopping cart. But you can drive drunk, hit somebody's car, and just walk away like ain't nothing going on with no mugshot, no nothing. You know, you're not going to jail. No, it's just like whatever. These politicians can do whatever they want. Why? It's because they got all the power. What you going to do to them? What you going to say to them? Right? It's crazy. So, I mean, I want to see the mugshot. I don't know about y'all. As soon as I saw you got arrested, I'm trying to find the mugshot, and I couldn't find it. And I already knew what was going on. So then when I saw Jesse Waters talking about it, I'm like, yep, that confirms it. That right there confirms it. They're hiding it. They're hiding it. And this probably means that he won't get in any trouble. I would not be surprised if they didn't take his mugshot at all, because they could just elect to not take his picture. They could do that. They could go through the rigmarole and then all the dog and pony show of arresting him, but then not really take his picture, not print him or anything like that. It's like, all right, Mr. Pelosi, sorry for the inconvenience. That's like what I was saying before. Oh, and also, here's what I wanted to say about the FOIA request. So I think they put out a FOIA request, that's Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, FOIA. They put out a FOIA request, if I'm not mistaken, for the body-worn camera footage, huh? Because when they arrested Paul Pelosi, surely the cops have body-worn cameras, and we've seen a lot of that footage get released to the public from FOIA requests. Now, what Jesse Waters said made so much sense. He was like, all right, Is he going to say, "Do you know who I am?" on the for you or on the body worn camera? Is he going to say, "Do you know who I am?" Of course he is. Of course. If it was Nancy getting arrested, do you guys you know who I am? Do you know who you are, ma'am? I can't tell. You drunk as a skunk. But anyway, he probably hit them with that. And then when it got to the precinct, it became, "Oh, sorry, Mr. Pelosi, we didn't realize. We'll talk to Jimmy over there. He's going to reprimand it. He'll get put on suspension for a week with no pay." That's probably what it was. Just like what I was getting ready to say, what I was talking about before, and I've said plenty of times about how Dick Cheney accidentally shot a guy in the head with some birdshot while out there hunting. I think he was quail hunting or something. Accidentally shot the guy in the head, and then rather than Dick Cheney having a press conference apologizing to the man, saying that it was a mistake and I'm sorry, hopefully you get well soon, all this, that, and the third, the guy who got shot had a whole press conference. I'm talking about a whole press conference saying, "Hey man, I'm sorry, my fault. I'm sorry for inconveniencing you and your family. I'm sorry for getting shot by you accidentally because it's an inconvenience to you." That is the power of politics. That's the power to where you can be the victim. You can get shot accidentally, purposefully, or whatever, and you apologize to the person that shot you. Paul Pelosi, "Yeah, I'm driving drunk. Yeah, I crashed my car, but you bet not take my mugshot. Get your hands off me. Don't fingerprint me. I'm Paul Pelosi. I'll shut this whole precinct down. You won't get any more funding. Defund the police is here. You would get $0. That's how they operate." And he's not even in government, but his wife is the Speaker of the House. You see how that works? So yeah, shout out to Rand Paul. I'll talk about Rand Paul in a little bit here. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk about him right now, actually. That's probably a good segue because you have a bad politician in Nancy Pelosi and the California government as a whole. They're bad politicians. Then you have some good guys out there. You have some good guys out there that still want to see the best for America. And I think one of these good guys is Rand Paul. Now, Rand Paul, I don't agree with on everything he says. I'm not going to agree with anybody on everything they say. That's unrealistic. As long as I respect your viewpoints and I agree with you mostly and we kind of vibe on that level, I don't have to agree with you on everything. That's not a realistic expectation. It doesn't make any sense. But Rand Paul, I agree with more often than not. Rand Paul is my favorite senator. I think Rand Paul is up there with Marsha Blackburn and Haggerty in Tennessee and a few other people. Okay. I even like your man from West Virginia, my man from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, although he's a Democrat. I like him. Okay. Now, clearly, I'm not going to agree with Democrats most of the time, but I like how he's not just going to be so party. You know, I'm going to do whatever they tell me to say, do whatever they tell me to do, say whatever they tell me to say. He's not an empty suit or a puppet like Joe Biden is. Joe Biden is the worst sock puppet of all time. He's Kermit the Frog in human form. And I'm not quite sure calling him human is appropriate because we got all these trans things going on, trans species, trans ableists. I'm not sure what to call the guy. Okay, if you weekend at Bernie's, are you even a human anymore? But I'm getting down in the rabbit hole again. I'm a little boy lost in the well at this point. I'm way down in the weed. So let me go ahead and just get back up and keep on rocking. So speaking about Rand Paul, my favorite senator, or one of my top 5 favorite senators in the country. He has a competitor, a Democratic competitor by the name of Charles Booker, a black guy. His race shouldn't necessarily matter, but it does because he made it matter. Not Rand Paul, but Charles Booker. To try and dethrone, I guess you would say, maybe that's the wrong word, to try and remove, that's probably better, to try and remove Rand Paul from power as a Democrat in Kentucky, when Rand Paul is loved by so many, you're going to have a hard time doing that. You're going to have a hard time doing that. And as I said in my video earlier, I believe that he knows that. I believe that this guy, Charles Booker, understands he's not going to be able just to go in there and take Rand Paul's spot. He needs shock. He needs awe. He needs something to get his name out there more. And also, before I get into the video, of the lynching and stuff like that. Before I get into the video, I think that a lot of these people that run for office don't really have intentions of winning. They run for office to get notoriety, to get attention. That's kind of what's going on. So while he's putting these crazy ads out there, while he's getting lampooned on television, while people are giving him attention right now, he is able to build his name and say, hey, you know what? I'm Charles Booker, not Cory Booker, no relation. And I'm a Democrat, and I do whatever they tell me to do, and I'm an automaton, and I'm an empty pantsuit. I'm Kermit the Frog. I'm a whole Muppet baby right now. That's what I'm doing. And whoever has the biggest amount of money, you can put your puppet master on me, and I'll do whatever they say. That's kind of what's going on, in my humble opinion. There's so much money floating around in politics, especially leftist politics. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Okay, and with all that money comes a lot of power. This is why you could crash your car in Apple Valley while drunk and be like, man, don't take my mugshot. Get your hands off me. Don't take no fingerprints. I'm Paul Pelosi. That's what's going on. So a lot of guys like this person here, what's his name again? Charles Booker. A lot of guys like this, let me make sure the sound is right. A lot of guys like this will put these crazy ads out there with the hope of becoming famous, with the hope of becoming popular, with the hope of becoming a guy like a guy like Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, etc., Barack Obama. So let's get to the video. Trigger warning. There's an actual trigger warning on this. It says, content warning, this video contains strong imagery. Viewer discretion is advised. But this is his actual Twitter, Charles Booker, verified, Booker for Kentucky. He writes as his caption to the video, lynching is a tool of terror. It was used to kill hopes for freedom. In Kentucky, it was used to kill 3 of my uncles. In his historic election, the choice is clear. Rand Paul may want to divide us, but hate won't win this time. It's time to move forward together. Now, I want to pause right quick, actually, because now that I'm reading this again, I'm seeing some things I didn't see before. A lot of keywords are in here that have already kind of been etched into the minds of many on the left. You know, move forward together and all this and that. That's something I see a lot. I see that a lot on yard signs, actually, move forward together. Wasn't that Hillary Clinton's campaign? Hold on. Let me just search that right quick. Hillary Clinton, forward together. On hers, okay, hers was onward together. Yeah, so remember this? Hold on. Let me put this up here. So remember this, onward together. So then when you see something like forward together, it makes you remember that. Because I remembered it, and I'm not even on the left, but I remember seeing that so much, it kind of clicked in my mind, right? And also, Rand Paul may want to divide us. This comes from the whole Unite the Right. Because remember they had the guys in the tiki torches talking about Jews will not divide us. That's where that comes from. You see what I'm saying? So he's just picking on things that have already been programmed into you. So I don't believe that he even wrote this caption. It probably was done by a very well-paid PR firm from Los Angeles or New York City to make you think about other things that have been constantly just droned into your head. But let's watch this campaign ad and see what we can see.
The pain of...
So right away, instantly, you got a noose. Instantly a noose. Now, the craziest thing about this, we've seen all these fake instances of nooses, right? Juicy Smouye, this man had some Ace Hardware twine on his neck. Twine, sir, really? I mean, what? Like you trying to crochet? You trying to build a you trying to run away and build a little knapsack that you're gonna put a stick on, and you're gonna put some toys in your baseball cap and Cracker Jacks in the knapsack and run away? Like, what are you doing? But he had some swine, and then Bubba Smouye, aka Bubba Wallace, had the garage pool in the background of his car stall in Talladega, if I'm not mistaken. All these fake nooses, there is such a short supply of nooses, of lynching incidents. People just make up stories. They create movies. They create reality when there is no reality that exists that's like this, right? So this man made a whole noose and put it on a tree for this video. Meanwhile, you would never see that just out in the wild. Like, ain't nobody getting lynched, but I'm getting ahead of myself, so I digress.
The pain of our past persists to this day. In Kentucky, like many states throughout the South, lynching was a tool of terror. It was used to kill hopes for freedom. It was used to kill my ancestors.
Sir, my man. All right, so why, oh why, must we keep putting nooses on ourselves? Why? If it's so painful, if it's so hurtful, what are you doing? This is Juicy Smollett on cocaine right here. This is fentanyl Smollett. You got a real noose on your neck right here that's hanging from a tree. You're in front of a tree. The noose is hanging from a tree. If you trip and fall, you might mess around and die. Why? What's the purpose? You're talking about, oh, it was a tactic used to kill my ancestors. Okay, but ain't nobody getting lynched no more. Why are you putting this noose on your neck? It's kind of a rhetorical question, but you guys know the answer. He's doing this because it generates revenue. It generates feelings. It generates all the woke people to come to him. That's what's going on. That's what's happening. But I mean, come on, sir. We gotta do better, man. We have to do better. Take that noose off.
Now, in a historic victory for our Commonwealth, I have become the first Black Kentuckian to receive the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. My opponent, the very person who compared expanded health care to slavery. The person who said he would have opposed the Civil Rights Act.
That's not even true. The Civil Rights Act. Rand Paul put out a statement about that before he even said this lie. Rand Paul said that he does not like some of the effects of the Civil Rights Act that go beyond race. Things like certain items on menus and just weird stuff. Because you know how lawyers do. You give them an inch, they go all the way to the sun. You give them 1 micro nanometer, they go all the way from here to the next galaxy with that. Okay? He did not like the way the Civil Rights Act was being used to do other random unrelated things. That does not mean that he was against Civil Rights Act. As a matter of fact, the Civil Rights Act was voted for 77-19 in the Senate, 1964. Now, 16 of those 19 people who were against it were Democrats. 16 of the 19, 3 Republican. As a percentage, more Republicans voted for the Civil Rights Act than Democrats. But he's trying to make it seem like if you are on the right or kind of conservative like Rand Paul is, then you're just a racist and you hate the Civil Rights Act. When in reality, it was Democrats, mostly in the South, like you, sir. What's your name? Charles Booker. People like you guys were the ones that voted against it. That's the reality of the situation. But I'll move on.
The person who single-handedly blocked an anti-lynching act from being federal law. The choice couldn't be clearer.
And one thing I want to say, okay, the Anti-Lynching Act. First of all, what's in that act? Anytime you see any kind of bill, any kind of law or whatever, there's always a bunch of stuff just kind of cooked in it, and you never know what's really going on. But murder is illegal. You can't, if you lynch somebody, you won't just get off the hook like, oh yeah, it was a lynching. He won't go to jail. No, you're probably going to go to the federal penitentiary for lynching somebody, okay? Or at least a state penitentiary because you killed them. That's illegal. You can't do that, right?
Do we move forward together?
So now he's clutching the noose like it's about to go up. Like it's about to go up, you about to go down. Sir, please stop.
Or do we let politicians like Rand Paul forever hold us back and drive us apart? In November,
Okay, finally. Good grief. Take the noose off.
we will choose healing. We will choose Kentucky.
Okie dokie. So that's your man, Charles Booker. Now, how many of you guys live in Kentucky are going to vote for that guy? Did that ad make you want to go out and act and say, yeah, I'm going to vote for Charles Booker? I don't live in Kentucky, but if I did live there, that wouldn't do it. That's not really what I want to see. I'm not really sold on that particular ad at all. That's just not really what it is. Right. So now Rand Paul, like I said, probably my favorite senator in the Senate. Right up there with Marsha Blackburn, Haggerty, all these people. One of my favorite guys. So I don't really see how this guy's going to win at all. He'll raise a lot of money. He'll raise a boatload of money, just like what's going on right now in Georgia with Warnock going against Herschel Walker and with Stacey Abrams trying to go against Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp is going to stump Stacey Abrams. I mean, Brian Kemp is very popular. People in Georgia, they like Brian Kemp. They love Brian Kemp. Black folks, white folks, they love that man. I'm telling you, I'm right here. I'm in Georgia all the time. I know kind of what's going on. Stacey Abrams, it's like Stacey Abrams, from what I'm able to tell, is like a person that only exists on Twitter or Instagram or something like that. You understand? Like, this person is not really a real person. People don't really see her as a real person. All this Auntie Stacey, but they don't really see her as a person you could vote for and actually become the governor. So she's going to lose again. And like I said before in the previous live stream, she came out on TV and said that Georgia is the worst place to live in the country. It's like, all right, now the context was somebody was trying to say that it was the best place to live, and she was saying it wasn't because of lack of access to healthcare. Like, she was pointing out the flaws that Georgia has. So that context probably didn't make it any better. Basically, she said Georgia sucks, and here's why. But hey, vote for me to be the governor of Georgia. You can't go out there and say Georgia sucks. As a person trying to become the governor, you got to say that you're going to do better than your predecessor. Not that the whole state sucks. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, I can understand if you think that Brian Kemp's not doing a good job, but why attack the entire state? You're attacking everybody that is there. Local government trying to do their thing. School teachers, police, fire, DMV workers, regular normies going to their jobs every day. You know what I'm saying? People that clean up the airports and fly the planes. You're dissing everybody in the whole state. But this is what happens when you get people that don't know what they're doing when they're a few trees short of that forest. Ain't no Amazon rainforest. You have a couple of sticks in the pine. That's what's going on with Stacey Abrams. All right. You shove a full 64 count box of crayons, you are a few short. You got a 6-pack of crayons. That's Stacey Abrams. Has no chance. Just like Charles Booker, all these people. I think that a lot of the left, they're so focused on the Barack Obama days. So they keep trying to reproduce Barack Obama. They tried it with Cory Booker. That didn't work. They tried to put him with a celebrity woman. That was so cringe and stupid. It's like, look, man, you can't manufacture Barack Obama. Barack Obama had the setup from an early age because of some people that he knows in his family. They go all the way back, you know, with George W., but that's a different story, and I digress. Shout out to Lolo Sotoro. But anyway, he was groomed from an early age. You're trying to take Cory Booker at age 50 and make him be this suave guy with a family and he can talk and speak eloquent. It just ain't there. If you want Barack Obama, you must create Barack Obama from an early age, the way he was created. Obama is from Indonesia and Hawaii, but has this kind of, you know what I mean, black uncle type accent. What kind of black uncle do you know in America that's from Indonesia? Huh? But they crafted him. You can't craft Cory Booker in a year talking about, okay, here's Rosario Dawson. You take her. We'll pay her some money to be your girlfriend for a while. And you're going to go, okay, you're in the Senate right now, right? So when there's a speech about, I don't know, roads, it could be a speech about the Cherry Blossom Festival. You'll get on TV and talk about it and speak very passionately. Like the cherry blossoms, they were the center of my youth. I love them. Same thing with Beto O'Rourke. Same thing with him. They keep trying to make him be somebody. They say, okay, it's going to be a press conference out there in Uvalde, Texas, and they all going to be there. They're going to have Ted Cruz and Dan Patrick and Don McLaughlin and Greg Abbott. You're going to go and crash the stage. And we're going to send staffers with you to rally around you outside to give you the big boost. It's so blatantly obvious. It's transparent. They spend all this money to try and fool you, to present a thing that's not really real in front of your face. But I digress. All right. So what else we got going on here? We got a lot happening. Oh yeah, Canada. So Canada banned handguns. And I saw it coming. You guys saw it coming as well. You guys are very smart that watch me. You guys know what's going on. I've been calling it for years. I'm like, when somebody says, and sometimes I see people on the right talk about this, when they say, I'm all for the Second Amendment, but we should ban assault weapons. You shouldn't be able to get an assault weapon. I'm like, okay, what is an assault weapon? What is that? And once you break it down, I mean, you already know what's going on. Once you break it down, all it means is that you have a scary weapon. It looks scary. It's black and it has all types of stuff on it. It looks scary. But ultimately, an AR-15, what they want to call an assault rifle, they think AR stands for assault rifle still, which it doesn't, Armalite. But the AR-15, you pull the trigger one time, one bullet comes out. The same thing as a handgun, the same thing as any other rifle on the market. It's the same. You have variations in your ammunition between the rifle and the handgun. We'll talk about that in a minute. You pull the trigger one time, one bullet comes out. Now, if you are an illegal possessor of something like a Glock switch, where you can make it be fully automatic, you can just pull the trigger and bullets will spray out. But having that Glock switch is totally illegal. Yet, I showed the video of these 12-year-olds having Glock switches on them in school, in the after-school program in the book bag. So that right there underlines the whole point that Trudeau was trying to make. He's saying, okay, we're going to ban handguns. We're going to ban the sale of handguns in Canada. How are you really going to ban a thing that is already banned for certain people, but they have it already? You can't be 12 years old and buy any gun, let alone a very illegal Glock switch. The Glock switch is illegal regardless of what's going on. You could be 85 years old or 15 years old. It's going to be illegal regardless, but yet these little kids have it, which goes to show that the whole ban does nothing. But I called it because when they talk about assault rifles, first of all, death from rifles is not very common. I think I saw a chart that said hands and feet, like getting beat with your hands and feet to death, is just as common as being shot and killed with a rifle in the U.S. So we're gonna ban hands and feet. We're gonna chop your hands off at birth and your feet off at birth because you might beat somebody to death or stomp them to death. Is that what we're gonna do? Remember the whole Dave Chappelle thing where my man had a chicken wing right here? So like this elbow, rather than going that way, it was going straight to the camera. That thing did a whole like a 45-degree turn. It was nuts. Then they put a whole door hinge on his shoulder. It was disgusting. But anyway, what did they do? Hands and feet, stomped him. Now, they didn't kill him, but they injured him pretty badly. So how many times does someone get injured badly with hands and feet versus a rifle and they don't die? It's probably similar. Now, here's my next point. We know that rifle deaths are very rare in the country. It's not that common. We know that. However, they know that as well. But they want to play on the general public who are kind of ignorant to that fact. they think that assault rifles kill everybody. If you were to ask normies out there in the street, what percentage of deaths in America from guns do you think assault weapons are responsible for? And in their mind, they're going to think an assault weapon is an AR-15. They're going to say 90% because they keep seeing that on the news. They don't see handgun death, which is the primary cause of gun death in the country. They don't really see that on the news too much because that ain't the narrative they wanted to push. They wanted to push the big bad rifle. So then when the powers that be are successful, able to so-called ban the assault rifles, the AR-15, and not other rifles, and not certain pistols that look like they could be rifles a little bit. But anyway, once they're able to do that, then they're going to say, hey, you know what? There's still a lot of violent crime. There's an epidemic of violent crime in the black community. So now we're going to go ahead and ban these semi-automatic handguns. They're going to keep saying that. Semi-automatic. That's what they're going to say. Matter of fact, hold on. Did you guys see that? I put it in my video this week, but there was a guy. There was a guy on CNN talking about semi-fully automatic. Hold on.
Be the same.
Let me see if I can post it up here. Now, this is going to be maybe a little bit loud, maybe some gunshots. So let's go ahead and put it up here. So this is from 2018. They're in the gun range. It appears to be some kind of like a guy interviewing another guy, and the other guy is allegedly a gun instructor of some sort. So let's see what happens here.
Be the same.
So this is the M4 military rifle.
Right.
This is the AR-15.
Right. A lot of people will buy this just because it's cool and they want to appear like soldiers. If you're a gun collector or a gun aficionado and you want an AR-15, you can certainly buy one, and you should be able to buy one. The problem is when it gets in the hands of the wrong people.
Originally built for the battlefield, a defining characteristic of the AR-15 is the speed and power of the bullet.
So the guy's obviously shooting in the range, and the other guys behind him just sitting there.
Now those are single shots. If I wanted to fire this on full semi-automatic, all I do is shots. If I wanted to fire this on full semi-automatic, all I do is keep firing. Now I won't probably hit.
Wait a minute. let's go back.
Now those are single shots. If I wanted to fire this on full semi-automatic, all I do is keep firing. Now I won't probably hit the target when I do this.
Full semi-automatic. Excuse me, sir? What does that mean? Either it's fully auto or semi-auto. Ain't no full semi-automatic. Hey, you know what? I got an automatic manual in my truck. I got an automatic manual, man. It's whatever. No, that's not how that works. Either you have an automatic or you have a manual.
When we look at the target later on, but I'm going to fire about 5 shots.
Okay.
It's a weapon designed to inflict.
So that right there, that him pulling the trigger faster than he did the first time, that was the full semi-automatic. I'm done. He literally just pulled the trigger faster with his finger, so that took it from semi-automatic to full semi-automatic. If this guy is your gun instructor, just go ahead and walk away. Walk away, because you're going to get injured and it's not going to end very well. So walk away. That's not going to work out. Now, I think the reason why I showed that is because people will actually look at that CNN report and believe it. They'll look at it and believe it. They think the AR-15 can become fully automatic by simply pulling the trigger faster. That's what they think, right? And a handgun can't do the same thing, right? That's kind of shout out to Jerry, my man with the guns, the OG Jerry. He can make a regular semi-auto look fully, but it's not. He's pulling the trigger with his finger. That's it. So once they get people to be comfortable with banning so-called assault weapons because of ridiculous stuff like this, propaganda, worse than North Korea, I mean, just ridiculous, nasty propaganda. Then they're going to say, okay, now we got to ban handguns too because they do the same kind of damage. Matter of fact, they do more. And then they're going to bring out the real numbers they had from the beginning that they didn't want to tell you because the narrative was about the rifles first. Then it's going to be about the handguns. And they're doing it right now in Canada. And we all called it. And your man Joe Biden has kind of co-signed on that whole point about handguns. Well, he didn't really say handguns specifically. He was talking about the caliber ammunition, like 9mm. Hold on, let me see if I can find that particular clip right here. Okay, so a lot of you gun guys are going to cringe really hard. You guys are going to super cringe over this. So check it out. All right. Let's hear what your man has to say, Joe Biden.
And they showed me a X-ray. He said a .22 caliber bullet will lodge in the lung, and we can probably get it out, may be able to get it and save the life. A 9mm bullet blows the lung out of the body. So the idea of these high caliber weapons is just that there's simply no rational basis for it in terms of about self-protection, hunting. And remember, the Constitution, the Second Amendment, was never absolute.
I disagree with you on that. It is absolute. Second Amendment, that is. I would disagree with you on that last point. I disagree with all of what you said there, actually. But he's talking about the handgun ammunition, the most common ammunition for a handgun, 9mm. He said that's high caliber. So a handgun, like a regular Glock 6 hour, whatever handgun, that's high caliber ammunition. Is that what we talking about? 9mm, really? But see, people like that, they're in power. They're ignorant. They don't know any better. They will parrot whatever somebody tells them that's around them. They have no idea what's going on. Yes, he said 9mm is high caliber. That's what he said. And that's the guy that's going to try to take your guns away. And people, they believe that stuff. They believe it. This is why I'm saying he co-signed what Trudeau was talking about. Trudeau came out and just said it. Elephant out the way. Came out and straight said it. Yeah, we're going to ban handguns. Joe Biden's kind of like, tiptoeing around it. Hemming and hawing, as they say down south. He's not really saying it, but he is saying it. He's saying the quiet part. He's whispering it. In Canada, they're saying the quiet part out loud. We're going to ban We're going to ban handguns, all guns. Oh, also in Canada, they have a 5-round magazine capacity limit. 5 rounds? What you going to do with 5 rounds on a long rifle? Like, oh, to be exact, they said, Trudeau said it's going to be 5 rounds on a long rifle magazine. What are you going to do with 5 rounds on a long rifle? I'm going to need 30 on the low end. Standard is 30. I need my 30. 5 rounds. I mean, you got, 10 rounds in the regular handgun. I need 30 in a long rifle because if I got zombie apocalypse, 28 days later, I am legend, or just some hooligans trying to run in my crib, I'm going to need all 30 and more. Matter of fact, I'm going to need a couple of spare mags on me already ready to rock. So as soon as one is expended, is empty, I can go in and kick that, hit the other one in there and charge it, keep it rocking and rolling. That's what I'm going to do. So I don't know, man. Canada's a mess. Canada's like a big California to a certain extent. Politics wise, it's a beautiful country once you are not necessarily in some of the dirty city parts. It's beautiful out in Canada from what I'm able to see. Very expensive, a lot of wildlife and a lot of just untapped territory. But the politics, I mean, my goodness, is crazy. It's 16 rounds of most handguns. Thank you, Bob K. When I say 10, I'm thinking about something else. I'm thinking about California. Oh, California has, I think California has 10 round mag capacity limit and a long rifle. Yeah. but it's a whole mess. So let's keep on rocking here. Canada banning guns. That's what they want to do here in the United States. They talk about common sense, gun control, gun reform. The ultimate thing they want to do is prevent you from being able to own your weapons. That's just the long and short of that. Now, let's talk about Big Leah. Okay, the Don. Lia Thomas, formerly known as William Thomas, the biological XY male who became transgender and identified as a woman, I believe, in his senior year of college. So, William was on the swim team for 3 years as a male. William, and you know what? I was watching the interview that Leah did on ESPN and ABC, and the narrators kept referring to this person in the past by the she pronouns. Now, I'm not necessarily a rocket scientist here. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. But if you were a male in 2018, and I'm referring to an event that happened in 2018, why would I call you she if you were a he at that moment? Here's a good example of what I'm talking about, and it'll make sense. It'll make perfect sense. Even to those who are like super LGBTQ, elemental P, super woke, Black Lives Matter, love Ukraine, F Putin, F Trump, Bernie Sanders bumper stickers on your car. If that's you, this will make sense. Let's just say there was a headline in a newspaper that says, man wanted for breaking in to Burger King after hours and frying up burgers. Okay. Does that headline change if you become a woman? It's in a newspaper. I'm reading the paper. Man wanted for breaking into Burger King and frying up burgers after the close. Does that change? I don't believe it does. Let's just say, for example, Barack Obama became transgender. Do we just ignore the fact that he was Barack Obama for 65 years, however old he is? We're going to ignore all that? I mean, come on. Just like with Caitlyn Jenner, are we going to ignore Bruce being on the cover? Caitlyn was not on the cover. And my thing is, okay, if you change your name and you become transgender, isn't that a brand new identity? So how can your new identity be conflicted with your old identity? Bruce is now Caitlyn. He got all this stuff going on, right? But on the Wheaties box, that was Big Bruce. It's simple, right? I mean, maybe I'm just kind of Ricky Williams, the football player, took his wife's last name for some reason. I don't know. Ricky Williams always been kind of the guy to walk to the beat of his own drum. But we're talking about New Orleans Saints, Miami Dolphins, rushing records. Are we going to refer to him as Ricky Williams or Eric Myron? So his name is actually Eric with 2 R's. So Eric became Ricky, and his last name was Williams. But now he won't be Ricky anymore. He'll be Eric Myron. Are we going to call him Eric Myron? Oh, yeah. You know what? Eric Myron was a beast in that backfield. He was killing them. He was a monster. You know, he was in the locker room, didn't take the helmet off. Eric Myron, no, Ricky Williams. But I digress. The whole point is, I think when you watch a lot of these interviews, just in time for Pride Month, by the way, they go overboard with all this pronoun stuff. She, using the new name for old things that happen. None of it makes any sense. It's silly. Matter of fact, hold on. Shout out to, before I get to the Leah Thomas situation, shout out to Matt Walsh. A lot of you guys know who Matt Walsh is from the Daily Wire. And he was also on Dr. Phil interviewing those guys. One who had the feminine kind of look with a beard. It was weird. But here he is, in an African nation. I'm not really sure where he's at. Don't get me to lying. I don't want to say the wrong nation and people be upset with me. That is not Kenya. Say the right thing, Anthony. That is not Kenya. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it could be Kenya. I don't know. So he's out there asking them about transgenderism, and let's see what their response is.
What if a man decides that his gender identity is woman?
So the guy is translating it for, I think, the elder that's right there in the village, and Matt Walsh is asking the questions.
A woman has its own duty, and a man has its own duty, and a lady cannot do the duty of a man, and a man cannot do a duty of a woman.
It's so simple. Like, why is that so hard? If you didn't quite catch it, he says, look, a man has a duty and a woman has a duty. That's it. We got gender roles. It's like that all over the world, because at the end of the day, we're human beings, and humans do the same things all over the world. When you do different and weird stuff, things get different and weird, and it's kind of hard to navigate.
Can a man become a woman?
No.
No?
No.
What about a transgender?
Okay.
Transgender?
So he had to ask him, like, he's like, what about transgender? He's like, what? What's that? Transgender? What are you talking about, sir?
No.
No?
It look like if you want to become a lady but you're a man, you have something wrong in your mind. Something wrong in your family, something wrong in you.
So he was like, look, man, if you are a man and you want to become a lady, something's wrong with you. that's what he's saying. Now, I wonder if you're going to get some kind of woke group to try to go out there and sanction them. How? Like, why? And in the village, like, what are you going to do to them in their village? What you going to do? Catch malaria and be sick in the hospital?
What about if someone was non-binary?
Come again?
So you're asking him about being non-binary. He's like, what? Non-binary? Come again? What's that? This silly stuff, though. Transgender, non-binary, these terms don't even exist in other parts of the world. It's a Western kind of thing. When you have no problems, you got to create problems. When everything's going well, you want things to go wrong.
Non-binary? Do you know, like non...
Imagine being in the village trying to explain to this man what non-binary is. Imagine that.
Like someone is
you're not a woman, you're not a man.
Yeah, someone is neither. There's something else. Is that?
He's saying we have never seen things like those. For a man, he has a penis. For a woman, he has a vagina.
It's simple, ain't it? It's simple. Just like, one more thing. I might not even play all of the interview with the dude, lady, whatever. One thing they were talking about was how Leah was assigned male gender at birth. How do you get assigned a gender? Look, when the baby comes out, it's pretty clear. It's obvious to see who's a male, who's a female. It's clear. It's not, I mean, you can't just roll the dice and be like, okay, what we got? We got snake eyes. All right, it's going to be a boy. That's not how that works.
So we know this is a lady, this is a man.
What if it's a woman with a penis?
What?
Is that? People are laughing. Is that?
They're laughing.
Question?
Laughing. Yeah, because it's silly. It's silly. But hey, if you laugh about that over here, if you laugh at that kind of thing over here, then you're considered to be a transphobe. You're denying my reality. But really, it's just silly at the end of the day. And there really ain't nothing else to it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the video I want here. Here it is. So here's the video of Leah Thomas. I'm going to play the whole thing. I promise. I'm going to just play a little bit of it.
She's the swimmer who created shockwaves across the country.
Now, if you do a drinking game, whenever you hear the word she in reference to Lia Thomas, you're going to die alcohol poisoning immediately because it's overbearing. It instantly, right when the clip started, she. That's not done on accident. That's very much so done on purpose.
She's the swimmer who created shockwaves across the country. 23-year-old Lia Thomas.
Leah Thomas pulling away.
The UPenn swimmer making history in March as the first known transgender athlete to win a Division I national title. But her athletic achievements on the women's swim team igniting fierce debate over fairness in women's sports.
It is just not fair.
When it comes to
Big Bruce in the house.
competition, it's just not a fair fight.
Throughout the controversy, Thomas has largely remained quiet until now.
I knew there would be scrutiny.
Brett the Hitman Hart, shout out to you, sir. Ma'am, whatever your pronouns are.
Against me if I competed as a woman. I was prepared for that, but I also don't need anybody's permission to be.
If I saw Leah Thomas in public just randomly, I would assume, like, if I didn't know who this person was, I think their name was Shane or Justin or something like that. He appears to be a Shane. That's kind of what I'm getting. Oh, excuse me. She appears to be a boy named Shane. You understand what I'm saying? But let's keep on moving here.
Myself and to do the sport that I love.
Assigned male at birth, Thomas grew.
Did you hear that? One more time.
Assigned male at birth.
Need anybody's permission to be myself and to do the sport that I love.
And before we even get to the whole thing about assigned male at birth, you must have permission to do this. You got to have permission to be on the team, to swim with the women. You can identify as whatever you want on your own time, but to actually participate in women's sports and in sports in general, you must have permission.
Assigned male at birth, Thomas grew up in Austin, Texas, where she says she fell in love with swimming when she was just 4.
But this is a little boy right here I'm looking at. This is a little boy I'm looking at. So why say she when referencing a little boy? I'm seeing a little boy. So, I mean, come on.
But as she grew, she says she felt increasingly disconnected to her body.
I didn't feel like I was a boy. I was like, this isn't me. This isn't who I am.
Thomas earned a spot at her Ivy League dream school, UPenn, on the men's team. But by her sophomore year, she says her gender dysphoria left her depressed and suicidal.
I was
What's the she count up to now? I've lost count.
Barely going to classes. I could really barely get out of bed. And I said, I can't live like this anymore. And I want to be able to do things I enjoy.
Even if it might cost me my swimming career.
Yeah, and that's part of.
Okay, so that's quite enough of that. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just move forward. It's about a 6 minute and 38 second long clip. Of course, that's on my website. That's on Twitter. You can find it. But throughout all this interview, the whole thing was, I want to do this. I want to do that. I, me. It's all about me. Meanwhile, you playing a team sport. Okay, it's not just you out there. There's other people that you are competing against and competing with. So it's not just you. And even if it was a solo effort, a solo sport, you're still kind of in the way of women's sports. There was a letter signed by, I think it might have been 16 teammates of Leah, quote unquote Leah, formerly known as William, saying how unfair it was and how they did not appreciate this person being able to be out there. Matter of fact, I think Matt Walsh was able to find something about this whole situation. Oh, here it is. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Let's play this right here. So here's from Matt Walsh. He says, GMA interviewed Leah Thomas today. Great timing. Our film features one of Thomas's teammates. She told me that women on her team were silenced and referred to psychological counseling if they objected to having Thomas on the team. More on the full film. And I think the film he's talking about, What Is a Woman, go to, and no ad here, I'm just saying, because I like Matt Walsh and Daily Wired, all of them. Go to whatisawoman.com to watch the movie. And I think it's out today. Let me go check right here. Okay, I think it's out today. You got to sign up for it or whatever, but I think it's out today. Or it might be coming soon. All right, but let's listen to this right here.
Leah obviously helps us do better, right? Leah's swimming really fast. Leah's performance helps the University of Pennsylvania swim team. The feeling of winning doesn't feel as good anymore because it feels tainted. There was a lot of things you couldn't talk about that were very concerning, like a locker room situation. If you even brought up concerns about it, you were transphobic.
Now, let's pause right there. Locker room situation, what does that mean? Well, without being too graphic, quote unquote, Leah still has all the male parts, if you catch my drift. Quote unquote, Leah is not gay. Well, Leah still likes women, put it to you that way. So, still got male parts, you still like women, you're in a locker room with women in various states of undress, and you, quote unquote, Leah, are getting there, and you are taking your clothes off, getting undressed at the same time. Somebody might see something they didn't want to see in the locker room. They might see something. They might see something rise they didn't want to see. You see what I'm saying? So then imagine that. Imagine you're a 19-year-old girl swimming on a swim team. Here comes this person with his manhood, and it's doing stuff. And you say, hey, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to see that man's thing in a locker room. And they try to call you the person that has a problem. It's called gaslighting. It's called gaslighting, man. If I was a woman, I wouldn't want to see that in a locker room. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to swim. This ain't no freak stuff. Like, no. You got to go over there. Okay, you must go over there. Okay, you're trans or whatever. I get it, but you still got your stuff. And I don't want to see that in my face when I'm trying to put on my leotard. It just ain't happening. Let's keep on going.
If you even bring up the fact that Leah swimming might not be fair, you were immediately shut down as being called a hateful person or transphobic.
But there's never any conversation. The coaches don't sit everyone down and acknowledge what everyone's really upset about.
So Penn actually brought in people high up in the athletic department to talk to us. They brought in someone from like the LGBTQ center. They brought in someone from the psychological services.
So you're upset about what's happening, and so you need psychological help.
Yeah. And they told us in this meeting, they said, look, we understand there's an array of emotions, but Leah's swimming is a non-negotiable. However, we can help you make that okay. That's what we're here for.
Wow. So basically it's like, look, Leah being on the team, swinging the manhood around in the locker room in front of your face, and the whole thing being unfair and uncomfortable. Look, that ain't the problem. You guys are transphobic. So what we're going to do is try to re-educate you. You're already in college right now. So let's go to transform this college to a re-education center. And we're going to fix you. We'll make you appreciate this. That's what's going on. So think twice before you go to college, one of these places where they try to brainwash your children. Be careful. Think twice. Because this is what's going on. That's what's happening. Right. Oh, and of course, I almost forgot. Congrats to Johnny Depp for beating the case. Well, sort of. So Johnny Depp, if you didn't know, had this ongoing court case with his ex-wife, Amber Heard. And by the way, Amber Heard used to be with Elon Musk as well. And didn't Elon Musk have I think she might have had some type of eggs and sperm. I don't know what happened, but that's a different story. And I digress. The whole point is that Johnny Depp won the case. Now, what was the case over? Now, I've not really been locked into it very deep. I've kind of watched it here and there. I get the gist of it. You guys may be more informed than I am. But the gist of it was defamation. It was libel, slander, because Amber Heard wrote this op-ed about Johnny Depp without saying Johnny Depp's name. But it was clear who she was talking about from what I heard. I've not read the op-ed, but that's what I've been told. And she was talking about how she was an abuse victim and all types of stuff, basically saying that Johnny Depp whooped her and it was all type of other stuff going on, like saying Johnny Depp abused her, and that right there is a problem, because if people believe that and they use it to get Johnny Depp, now Johnny Depp's going to be having problems getting movies and just walking around doing this thing. So he sues her $50 million, if I'm not mistaken, and then she countersues. I'm not sure what the countersuit is for. And I was watching a lot of the news coverage like in the past couple of days, and they were saying that Johnny Depp really had no case because it's free speech. But I think what happened was Amber Heard was saying things that did not happen. Johnny Depp did not beat her. Johnny Depp did not do X, Y, and Z. She was lying. And you put a lie out there like that and it damages me, that's defamation. Isn't that correct? And I think or that's slander. And I think libel is when you print something like that. So she printed it by putting it on the op-ed, and slander if you're going out there and saying certain things. Now, I saw some of I didn't see any recordings, but I heard some of the recordings. Amber Heard is a nut, but Johnny Depp is a few trees short of a forest himself. All them French fries ain't French frying in that grill basket. Okay, you got a few cold fries in that hot grill basket. The man's crazy. Shouts to my man, Leader Turney. I watched some of his streams from time to time about Johnny Depp, and I heard that Amber Heard had chopped part of his finger off, and he took out some black Sherman-Williams paint and dipped his raw finger into the paint. I don't know if I heard that right. I don't know everything. Like I said, I've not really been intently watching this, but they both kind of crazy. But I think that what this case really highlighted was how male abuse tends to go unpunished. See, you can be a woman that beats upon a man and you don't go to the penitentiary. You don't have any real penalty. It's just like nothing. Now, I almost forgot the actual result of the case. So Johnny Depp won $15 million and Amber Heard won $2 million because there was a countersuit. She won some of her claims. Like I said, they're both crazy. Johnny Depp, I'm team Johnny Depp, but Johnny Depp is a nut as well. I like Captain Jack Sparrow, but I understand that Captain Jack Sparrow is not a real person. Johnny Depp has some issues, but Amber Heard is a complete nut. Oh, man. Those two being together, it's worse than oil and water. You're talking about a matching gasoline. Just not good at all. But yeah, so he did win his case. Well, he came out the victor because he won more than she did. He won $15 million. She won $2 million. Now, I have no idea where she's going to get $15 million from. Maybe she could call up Elon Musk and be like, hey, big head, what you got going on? what you got going on? Let me see, call up Elon Musk. She was already with him, and they had some kind of situation going on with a baby. I don't know what happened with that. But I'm not sure that her guest role that got cut on, what was that? Was it Spider-Man or one of those movies? I'm not sure these guest roles that she was able to get will equal up to $15 million. And I'm not really sure what she got from Johnny Depp as far as any kind of divorce settlement. And I'm not sure how this would impact that. Like, let's say there was a divorce settlement and alimony, and he was paying it. Would this $15 million go against that? I'm not sure how that's going to work. But regardless of what, it's been a mess. Okay, she's got to pay him $8.3 million according to Rakita Law. Okay, but still 8.3. Aquaman, thank you, guitar dude. I'm talking about Spider-Man. Yeah, so you better call Jason Momoa, Elon Musk, or somebody, because even 8.3, that's no chump change. For Johnny Depp, that's chump change. But for Amber Heard, I mean, I've never heard of Amber Heard, no pun intended, up until this court case. Now, maybe I'm just not in tune with Hollywood like that, but I never heard of her before. I guess the Hollywood guys know who she is. Hollywood guys know her. Elon Musk didn't had her, and Johnny Depp didn't had her, and everybody else. Jason Momoa, guest star, the co-star in the movie. It's a whole lot going on. But Hollywood's gross like that. I'm glad that one thing that I can get from this case, like I said, I've not been watching it very closely, but one thing I like to get from this case is that when men have issues with women being crazy and abusive, it's not just swept away. It's actually looked at and taken seriously, because it does happen. We all know about abusive men, that do all kind of crazy, wild stuff to their wives, and we all disavow them. We all say, go to the penitentiary, get the ultimate. We all know that. But then when it comes to women abusing men, it's not really that the same kind of energy ain't really there. You see what I'm saying? It's more just kind of like, oh man, toughen up, stop being soft. Also, James Franco, that's right. Yeah, because a big part of the court case that I remember now from watching it occasionally was James Franco going up to the condo. So you got a rotation. You got Elon Musk over there, Johnny Depp over there, and you got James Franco. It's gross. Amber Heard, I see why Amber Heard's crazy like that. She got too much stuff going on. Too much stuff going on. Stick to one man. How about that? And she's a little bit too old to be doing it. How old is Amber Heard anyway? 36? Come on, man. 36 years old doing that? That's like college girl behavior. You 36 years old, but anyway, I digress. So yeah, Johnny Depp did come out the victor in the case. He was awarded $15 million. She was awarded $2 million for her counterclaim. But like someone said, Rakita Law, it's a good channel right here on YouTube. They said she's only responsible for 8.3 or 10.3. Yeah, Virginia put a cap on punitive damage. And I heard that the reason why they went to VA, to like Northern Virginia for this trial, is because they went venue shopping. I don't think either Amber Heard or Johnny Depp lives in Virginia. They probably live somewhere in the hills of Los Angeles. So I'm not really sure why VA was the destination. But regardless of what, that's what's going on. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. The one thing that is probably the most crazy from this trial was Amber Heard doo-dooing on the bed. Now, I don't know what that was all about. I watched some news clips here and there, and I think they brought it up in court, and she was like, well, I was going through a few things. My life is in shambles. So because you're just so stressed out, you're just going to doo-doo right there on the bed. Just leave like a little cow patty right there on the mattress. That ain't the wave at all, man. That's not the wave at all. That's not very cool. All right. Durner 1804 says he used the WAPO article to get it moved to Virginia. Okay, I see. So is that where the op-ed? So since WAPO is based out there, then and since WAPO is based out in Northern Virginia, and the op-ed was published on WAPO, then it's like, okay, let's go over there to have the court case. Okay, I see. Now, the question is WAPO responsible here because they published it? If they published it, like who published it? Are they responsible, or is it just Amber Heard who's responsible for what she wrote? I don't know. But this whole thing has really gripped the nation. It's gripped the nation. I've watched it occasionally, but I wanted to see the conclusion, the finality. I didn't really want to see all the outs and ins and outs. That wasn't really my thing. All right. That gets everything I wanted to get to. I think I did. H3H3 suspended. We already know what happened with that. He threatened the NRA convention and got kicked from YouTube for 1 week. Oh. Now, matter of fact, hold on. I'm gonna do that right quick. Just right quick. I won't take too much time. So H3H3, well, Ethan Klein from H3H3, we've known him for quite a while. He's been around for a long time. He threatened the NRA during the podcast. well, the NRA convention, talking about somebody should go bomb that place. Now, he came out and said later that he was just joking and it was a short clip, taken out of context, that and the third. Here's a clip right here. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit so you can see Ethan's pretty face.
So there was a big protest outside the NRA meeting, which was good. Do we have any insight into what they're actually talking about there at the NRA meeting that's today in Texas? Someone should bomb that building.
Mm-hmm. So you heard that. He was saying, hey, the NRA convention is right there in Texas, right after the Uvalde shooting. So somebody should bomb that building. Now, it was a short clip. He said that there was more context, but what more context do you need? I'll tell you what, he got his channel suspended for 1 week, and that particular episode where that clip was from got removed from YouTube. He probably got a strike too, but knowing how they operate, he probably didn't. However, in context, out of context, doesn't matter. If that was somebody like me that said something like that toward some leftist type of thing, oh no. It wouldn't just be YouTube doing something to me. It'd be the federales. Mr. Logan, we saw what you said on YouTube. You want to come with us? It'd be something like that going on. But we see how people get treated. You know, it ain't white privilege. It's political privilege. It's status privilege. That's kind of what's going on nowadays. Class privilege. That's the new thing. If people are still stuck on race, I feel like they're way back. They're way back in the time doesn't exist anymore. People that are stuck on race just trying to find excuses, reasons to not perform to their best ability. The thing right now is your class and who you know and how much money you got and your political connections, things of that nature. That's what's going on right now. The race thing is so played out. That's like so 1960 civil rights, MLK. Those days are long gone. We've gotten to a whole different place in this society, and that's just what's going on. And if people are still stuck on the whole race thing, they're going to have a hard time in the future. They really are. All right. So let's keep on moving here. Super chats on deck, and then I'm going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658. There it is, 434. It went away. But 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Matter of fact, can I skip back? It won't let me. There it is. See, look, I got it back. 434-658-1220. That'd be the number to call. Also, like I say, there's a email for Skype in the description box if you want to call in and be right there in the bottom left-hand corner talking about the things that are going on in the world today. Super chats right here, and then we get to the calls. Thank you to the guitar dude who says Paul Pelosi killed his own brother in the jar 65 years ago. Did he do that for real? Wow. Paul Pelosi killed his own brother in the joyride 65 years ago. So he was like in his like 1920. Disciple of Tenzich, I know I tore it up, and I'm sorry. Says, please answer my call 929 from Asian. Okay. We'll see what we can do, man. I can't just, you know what I mean? I think it's a Mallory who says, what's up, ABL? I see the Marines have gone woke and are celebrating, quote, Pride Month, unquote. How come the social experiment is becoming more important than defending this nation? It's so weird. It really is. I think it's a Harley rider who says, notice how he says it was used. He's right. The woke left won't notice that, and he knows it. I think it's a Dave Murphy who says, ABL, okay, did I wake up in the 1950s America or something? I swear that I was born in Gen X and we were past this. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy out here nowadays. Think it's a Mark Trevino who says, ABL, I'm at the Disney Worlds right now. I know you're into fitness and health. If you were here, you definitely say, sir, or come on, doc. Thank you to Cyano who says, does everyone know that Biden administration signed a pandemic treaty to give the World Health Organization the ability to lock us down in the pandemic? Stuff is happening without votes. Well, they can try to do something like that, but hey, man, we still got our weapons. We still got 400 million guns in the wild in the hands of American citizens. So if they try something like that, it might not go very well. So I don't see that happening. They get to Saving Brooks making bucks, who says, as a proud Kentuckian, Booker won't rep us in Booker won't rep us. Paul 22. There you go. And thank you for being a member as well. Thank you to Pete Sangria, who says, hashtag me doo-doo, don't let Alyssa Milano steal my hashtag. Thank you to the Anti-View, who says, important question, ABL. On your soundboard, do you have a donkey noise? If so, be ready for my call. Hit the like button, everyone. Also, men can still get abortions. My thing is, okay, now they say that men can be pregnant. So if they can get pregnant, they can have abortions. So you can't say that if you're a man, you cannot talk about abortions. They just make stuff up all the time. It has no logic, no consistency. It reminds me of the whole term Latinx, right? There's a language called Spanish, and it has gendered terms, all right? It has gendered terms. It really does. So at a certain point, you can't just make up a word that doesn't fit into the language, into the structure of the language. It has, Latina, Latino, abuela, abuelo, senora, senorita, all that, or senor, senorita, or senora, whatever it is. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Thank you to Ginger Romans for your chair emoji donation. Thank you to Alejandro for your donation. Thank you to Guitar Dude, who says Paul Pelosi killed his brother, and I already read that one. Thank you to Georgia Peach, who says, what's your thoughts on the, quote, mass shooting? Hold on, something right there. In our area, do you feel media went overboard? It's rare. What you mean? You talking about Chattanooga, or you talking about there was a shooting in like Atlantic Station in Atlanta? I'm not really sure what you're referring to. Thank you to Angel, who says, another great show, ABL. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to my man, Joe Davis Media Network, who says, hey, bro, love how you're growing and can't wait for you to do a show with Jericho and I again. Also sends you an email and text. I'm also glad Johnny won, and thank you for exposing Lia Thomas. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. Glad Johnny won. Team Johnny. And this whole Leah Thomas thing is ridiculous because if it was just about just trying to be trans and living your truth, all that kind of stuff, then why not just be trans on the men's team? Why not just identify as whatever you want to identify as, still swim with the men? It's because Leah does not want to swim with the men. Leah wants to swim with the women and go over there and be Michael Phelps. It's simple. But maybe I'm just ignorant. Maybe I'm just a phobe. Just maybe. Okay, you talking about Chattanooga, Georgia Peach, the mass shooting out there. Shootings like that, see what happened with that shooting, it does not fit the narrative. See, the shooting, they were all juveniles. I think they said between the ages of 13 and 16, maybe even 13 and 15. All juveniles, no adults, and there's no big bad AR-15. There's no school. There's no church. There's no grocery store. It's just a bunch of kids outside shooting each other. So they don't really care about that. That's typical to them. That's like typical hood violence. Now, for us out here in chat, that's not necessarily typical, obviously, but Chicago, New York, Detroit, Philadelphia, etc., that's normal. They won't cover that. They don't care if all the kids died. They won't cover that, which they didn't die. I think maybe one kid died, if anybody. But anyway, they won't cover that. All they're going to talk about is the things that can pull the biggest heartstrings because they have a narrative they want to actually get done. That's their whole purpose. It's simple. All right. So let's go ahead and get to the calls. The number to call, like I said again, 434-658-1220. There's also an email for Skype in the description. So if you want to be on video talking about whatever you want to talk about, if Skype does not work properly, you know to blame it is not me because it's not my fault. I didn't do it. All right. Yeah, black on black shootings, they don't really count either. That's not really what they're interested in. 701, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Evening, ABL. This is the Anti-View.
All righty, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. So do you have a donkey noise on your soundboard?
I don't.
Well, you're just going to have to pretend with me then, because Leah Thomas is now going to be known as Leah with Tom's donkey noise. because we don't swear on the show, right?
There you go.
That one's just for Doug and Alien. I know they'll laugh at that. So last time I called, I was a little heated. So I just want everybody to take a nice deep breath, and you can too, ABL. And while you're taking that deep breath, you should know that you have 10 to 12% higher lung capacity than I do. That's probably why, even through blind auditions, there's 90% more musicians that are men than there is women. They can hold notes longer. They can reach notes with their pinky on certain instruments better than females can. You know, they do blind auditions with orchestras and with city things like that. So, you know, that's kind of an end to the whole there's a difference between men and women. Figure skating, you know, men are allowed to do quads. Women are not. Oh, since we're talking about ice, women are not allowed to check in hockey because they might get hurt. But men are allowed to. That's why I didn't play hockey, by the way, because I knew I would have ended up in the penalty box. But I just wanted to mention all these different things. I was going to call and just say take a deep breath, but then it got me down a rabbit hole like usual. So I hope you have a great, great show. Started off the show on a high note, right?
That's right.
But you have a good night, ABL.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Bye.
All righty. You guys are fantastic. Let's go ahead and get to, okay, give me 1 second here. All right. 903 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. My name's Josh. Nice to meet you.
Oh, likewise, man. What's going on?
Not a lot. I live down by the border, and I like your content, and I thought I'd call and say, hey, what's up?
Well, I'm glad you did, man. I appreciate you for calling in.
I'm a parent, and I have 4 kids, and they range from, you know, really young to, I'd say like upper teens. So 5 kids that span that spread. And I'm also a Marine Corps veteran. And I live pretty close to where the Uvalde shooting happened.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead.
I said I live fairly close to where the Uvalde shooting happened, and it's just kind of, you know, it's really upsetting. And as a Marine Corps veteran, like, I wonder what's our role. And I kind of wanted to talk to you about it because I know you were raised in the Marine Corps. And what would you think just your opinion, if I can ask? Well, I know I can ask, but you may you may say no if you like, ABL. But what's your opinion on like the schools choosing to arm themselves or provide security with armed veterans, you know, that are, you know, screened and trained and appropriately minded to protect the schools?
Well, I'm not against that. I think that makes sense. I saw there was a Facebook post that kind of went viral of a guy that was just that. He was a combat veteran, pretty young guy too, and he was patrolling the school. He had his rifle, and he didn't look too, you know, menacing, but at the same time, he looked pretty serious. He had his rifle, had his vest, but he had on like regular tennis shoes and a polo shirt with some slacks, and it was like little kids around him. So I think that makes sense. I mean, it's kind of a logical solution to have.
Well, I'm glad that you agree. I think so too. To me, it makes sense, especially if you can, you know, obviously hiring the right people is important. I don't think you would have an open roster, just like, hey, sign up, we'll take anyone. But I mean, hiring the right people who know how to handle themselves and how to handle, essentially not handle a weapon until you need to, is what I'm getting at. But I don't know, living down here on the border, I thought I would talk a little bit about to you. I lived here since 2013, and all across the border from, I'd say, like Rio Grande City all the way to Harlingen, pretty much every city in between. Working normal jobs, also working as a civilian contractor for different government entities. I mean, nothing super secret squirrel. I'll just say I'm a mechanic, and they don't always have mechanics to fix everything. And, you know, looking around and seeing how things go, it just doesn't seem to be improving. And I just thought I would report in and tell you that I love you and I appreciate you and what you do. I think your content's great. I think you're great. I'm always happy when I see your thumbnail. I think your smile is an inspiration. And I just want to tell you, I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and I'm going to let you go soon because I don't want to clog up your line. But I have this opportunity, so I'm going to take it. When you upload your thumbnails and it's like you're smiling and you got your thumbs up, or you're straight faced and you got like your thumb and your hand on your chin, or you're like, thumbs. I just lose it, man. I think you're so cool, and I really like your content, and I just think it's awesome to be talking to you, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Talk to you later, man.
All right, now.
Bye.
Shout out to the caller. Great call. You know, I enjoy doing my thumbnails, make sure they, you know, just exude my emotion. And to be clear, I was not in the military. I think he was talking about my dad, who was in the Marine Reserves. So my dad was in the Marine Reserves. So he was always military minded. He was in the Marine Reserves. And then later in life, he went to the Air Force Reserves. But throughout his life, mostly he was firefighter. That's why I wear the red line hat. He was a firefighter, but he was also in Marine Reserves. There's a picture I have, I can find it, where he has on his Marine uniform and looks like me. It's like, I showed it to somebody, like, is that you? Were you in the Marines? It's like, no, it was my dad. So yeah, no, I was not in the Marines when my dad was in the reserves. He did the whole Paris Island thing and everything when he was like 17. Oh, you gotta be 21 to get an AR-15. My dad was 17 years old, Paris Island. So what are we talking about? It's silly. 616 on the line. Who am I speaking to? 616, hello. Going once. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's all good. What's happening?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
Everything's fine. What's going on?
I just wanted to give a few comments on the Johnny Depp case.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm an attorney. I've dealt with defamation, written a lot of briefs on it, represented a lot of clients on it on both sides. One thing I think it's interesting to point out about this case is that Johnny Depp was a public figure. So people like me or you, when we're private citizens, to prove up a case, you just have to show negligence on behalf of the other party. But once you become a private figure, you have to show actual malice and clear and convincing evidence, which is a much higher evidentiary burden. And 95 to 100% of the time, these claims fail because there's a huge difference between someone just making a comment that was incorrect here and there versus making a comment where they intentionally had that malice to show that they wanted to hurt the other side. So it was a very interesting case to watch. And for them to reach that verdict at such a high proportion, it's really something that doesn't happen that often.
So I have a question for you.
And it was interesting.
So I have a question for
you.
Go
ahead.
Was a verdict surprising for you?
The verdict was not surprising. The amount was surprising.
Okay.
Because it goes beyond just showing that someone defamed you. You have to prove up damages. You have to show that this comment caused me to lose X amount of dollars. And he actually had that because, I mean, he lost the Pirate 6 contract that was $22 million. So I thought if they actually found that verdict, then they could have went up to that $22 million. Versus for her, I mean, I had never heard of her. Maybe she's famous. I don't pay attention to all celebrities and that much. But her comment after the whole trial was almost that comment could have been defamatory in its own way. But I'm sure he's not going to pursue it, and they're just going to move on. It was an interesting trial to watch. But I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I've not really been watching the trial that much. I've just seen some of the news clips here and there, some of the I guess you would say the highlight reel. So I don't really know a lot about it. I just know kind of the general gist. I think the main thing that I took away from it was how it kind of highlighted the issue of abuse, like wives abusing their husbands, because that does happen. I'm not saying that it wasn't a mutual thing. I'm just saying that it highlights how it's not just one-sided, where it's like the man beating his wife. It's not just like that. There's other things that happen in relationships, and people it needs to be taken seriously. It shouldn't be like swept under the rug and ignored. Take it seriously because it does happen.
Yeah, it was insane, honestly, to watch it, because it's like he was just like exposing himself to, you know, some of the nefarious things and things he probably regretted that he did with his life, and in terms of abuse. But it's like he put that all on the line. Just, it's almost like he was willing to admit, like, yeah, I abused drugs, I abused alcohol at some point, but I want to clear my name on being someone who would, you know, abuse your wife or, you know, your partner in some way.
Right. All right, man. Well, thank you for the call.
I'll let you get on.
I appreciate you.
I'll let you get on to other callers.
All right, then.
Bye.
All righty. All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, man, let me put you on mute over here. It's James in Japan. How you doing, bud?
Oh, it's all good, man. Can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm all right. I was talking to my wife about, let's fix our camera here. I was talking to my wife about what's going on with this whole deal in the States, and she was like, "There's too much freedom in the U.S. Everybody can get a gun, and everybody can, do whatever they want. You can sue somebody for anything." And I started thinking, what's the contributing factor to this? Like, you look at all these things that are going on, like all the stuff that we're talking about today. We got what's that guy's name from H3H3 or whatever?
Ethan Klein.
Yeah. Right. I've never heard of this guy before. Anyway, he goes on and says just whatever he wants. Freedom of speech, right? You can't yell fire in a crowded theater, but everybody's talking about, I got to be free to do this. Well, I want freedom of guns. I got to be free to say whatever I want. And my wife brings up a really good point. There's a very fine line between freedom and anarchy. And in the States, and I think this is on purpose, there are a lot of people who are often talking about how their own personal freedoms are the most important thing. But we live in a society, and we tend to forget what that social responsibility is. Yet everybody's always talking about your corporate social responsibility. They're putting it off on somebody else. They're putting it off on the corporations, not themselves. So I kind of did this mind map. You know what mind mapping is?
No.
Have you ever heard of it? So mind mapping is you take an idea and you write it down. Then you write down, like, it looks like becomes kind of like a spider web. All the connected things that are there. So I wrote down all these, ideas. We got Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, Pelosi gets arrested for DUI, guns in the U.S. all over. I kind of wrote it down here. Freedom and anarchy, self-serving independence plus versus social responsibility, et cetera, et cetera. And I started trying to look at what is the connecting idea. What is it that like holds everything together here, or not holds everything together, but what's the one common factor, right? And I think that it comes down to mental issue. Like, we're looking at individual freedoms as being the utmost importance, and you do whatever you want that makes you happy. And my 9-year-old said, well, didn't eating people make Jeffrey Dahmer happy? My 9-year-old said this. And I was like, yeah, he did.
He did.
I mean, granted, she's repeating stuff that I'd said. You can't just do whatever you want because it has, effects around you. But What is it that? I mean, I want your 2 cents. I want your deep analysis on this. What is this common factor? Is it mental issue? Is it just giving people too much freedom without the responsibility? Me personally, I think we take away this moral objectivity and then suddenly everybody has, well, this is true for me. Man, if it's just true for you, then it's not true. It's just how you feel. That's what opinion is. That's me. I think there's a moral objectivity to the universe. But, I want your deep, detailed analysis.
I think what's going on here is one thing that's not being spoken about is all these people that are on these antidepressants, this medication, because that's been the big thing throughout a lot of these mass shootings, where these kids, and I had a conversation with somebody before, and they were talking about how their 5-year-old boy needs to be on some kind of medication to calm him down. I'm like, he's 5. I mean, he's going to be running around.
Supposed to be hyper. Exactly.
He's 5. He has energy. It's what he's going to do. Like, let him go outside. Like, you got him sitting in here in the house with a tablet. You're staring at it, and you're wondering why you're so antsy. See, that right there, and then when that happens throughout their childhood, they're medicated unnaturally. They don't have a way to get all the energy out. Now, all of a sudden, they want to shoot up a school.
Yep. And people are looking at tablets and stuff all the time, and man, that stuff gives you a dopamine release that is unparalleled in the real world. I mean, people looking at tablets and phones and stuff, and they're doing that, and then you go out to the real world, and nothing competes with that, and you end up doing whatever just to get a fix. It's really off. I think mental health is it's completely ignored in Asia. Like, I don't remember the guy's name, the guy that does the emotional damage joke, that kind of meme.
Yeah.
He was like, man, we don't have mental health in my home country. And I'll be honest, here in Japan, it's just not, I think I've talked about this last week or something. We just don't talk about that mental health. But in the States, we are going the opposite way. Everybody's got a mental issue, and everybody's mental health is of utmost importance, and yet we don't actually cover it. We don't do anything about it. We just go, yeah, you're right. You're good the way you are. And I'm like, man, that person's broken, dude.
We sometimes we do too much. Like, back to the medication. Oh, he's hyperactive. He has some kind of issue. Let's put him on this. Let's put him on that. Oh, well, I think he has gender dysphoria. I think that's mental illness. Okay, so he's 8 years old. Put him on puberty blockers. We do too much. Or we do too much. And then once the effects of doing too much become apparent, we do nothing.
Did you ever read The Fourth Turning?
No.
I highly recommend. Matter of fact, the thing is, the book was written back in the late 80s and early 90s. And it's all about social change and each, what they call a seculum. Like, every 80 years, basically, you have this huge social upheaval. And he did it's up on YouTube. He did a kind of an update of it 20 years later. And this is the fourth turning where everything basically starts to flip over on its head. And after George Floyd, everything's going bonkers. That's a different subject for a different day. But all of these issues tend to be coming to a head right now. And we're looking at this. And I mean, for content creators, that's great, sure. But everybody else, I mean, it's like a real social problem. So how do you do something about it? How do you actually do good in your community? How do you convince people that you live around that more needs to be done to protect yourself, protect the community, and stay sane? I mean, it's just nuts, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't know how to do it. I don't think arming teacher, like for the Uvalde thing, I don't think necessarily, I would like to say arm the teachers, but the teachers in schools are a lot of our problem nowadays. So
I think, like one caller said, I got more callers on the line here, but I think
I'll need to let you go. Sorry about that.
It's all good. One person said it earlier. They were talking about having some of these veterans. You screen them, make sure everything's good, and you arm them, and they can protect the school. And I've seen that before. Like some of these combat veterans, they come back home. Okay, you go ahead and you defend this school. That'd make more sense than just
a lot of veterans want to go into the private sector anyway. That would be great.
That's a perfect thing, and we got plenty of money to send to Ukraine $40 billion. Why not just invest some of that money into this program and have that be nationwide?
Yeah. We don't want guns going in the hands of the youths. We don't mind them going in the hands of the youth Ukrainians, but.
Right. But not Americans. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all social manipulation, man. Yeah. You should read The Fourth Turning, by the way. All right. I'll let you go. It's always good talking to you, man.
Likewise,
That
man.
caller before, he's like, I love you, man. You're great. Dude. Yes, definitely.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you, man.
I see you, man.
All right, now.
Be good.
All right, great call from man James in Japan. But yeah, the combat veterans, you screen them, make sure everything's good, and you let them patrol the schools. I mean, I'm not necessarily against arming the teachers. We got a bunch of kind of nut job teachers, but there's a lot of good teachers out there. A lot of really good, hardworking people that are not into that ridiculous stuff all over the country. So shout out to all the good teachers out there. You guys are fantastic. I have a cousin that's a teacher. Actually, I'm going to say her name. Shout out to you if you're watching. Just as sweet as you can be. Nice, you know what I mean? Always been like, I remember when they was like little kids, I'd go over there with my dad and everybody and my uncles and my other cousins. And I would see her and her sister just like little rut rats running around. Now she got and grown up, become a teacher. Always been super nice. People like that do exist, but you also have this kind of contingent of nut jobs out here that are just doing the whole lot. 304, you're on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Jeff from West Virginia, ABL, and it was probably last time I'm calling in after watching that old fella from Africa. I think I'm going to get me a 12-hour flight to Cairo, Egypt, and take an 84-hour bus ride to paradise. I'm going back to the motherland.
There you go.
I'm done with it here. Let me tell you something. How you doing tonight? You say you want a little bit lighter show tonight, huh?
Yeah, man, it's all good.
Good. Well, let's see what you was talking. Who is this Ethan Klein fellow? What did you say he said?
Oh, he said on his live stream that somebody should bomb the NRA convention.
That's what he said?
Sure did.
Oh man, I thought he said my show bombed and just got off the internet. Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? Look, we can all sleep better at night knowing that a man making terrorist threat like that's in jail, and we can all feel safe tonight. Yeah. So.
No, not quite. He's not in jail.
What? He's not in jail?
Nope.
What? I'm telling you, I'm off to the motherland. Hey, how about this trans swimmer, man? I told you about 4 months ago, we need a place kicker. We need a place kicker. Kick her right in him or whatever, right in the place before the swim meet starts, and then start it.
Yeah, there you
Even
go.
it up a little bit. Yeah, let me tell you something. There is nothing going to remind you you're a man like a good, swift, quick kick to the testicles.
Oh yeah, that right
now,
there.
All you ladies,
all the pronouns and all that kind of stuff will go out the window because you come back to reality real quick.
Oh yeah, it'll let you know. It's a solid test, ladies out there. Let me give you a piece of advice. If you ever hear your old man say something like, "Boy, that AOC made a good point tonight," remind him he's a man. And what about this? Johnny Depp. I really didn't follow this much. Just Johnny Depp defecation trial. I mean, I hope he rubbed her nose in that and took her outside and put her on the chain for a while. Doesn't he know they have trainers to deal with stuff like that? I mean, he did take his dog to court, right?
No, he didn't. His ex-wife.
I look like a dog. You look at her from the very top of the head straight down. Looks like a yellow lab. I really wasn't paying much attention to that one, but I'll tell you what. Though, last time I called in, I did misspeak when you're trying to go for a lighter show, so I'm not going to get into it too much. Everybody can go back and listen to what I said. I suggest you go back and listen to all these videos. But I did say they didn't go in, and I did misspoke, and that lady pointed it out, and I was just a little heated when I said that, and I just wanted to say that for you real quick. And I think maybe with my accent, some people thought I was saying that all cops are bad, maybe somehow. I was saying those. So I'll give you, here before I get off here, I just want to give you a couple examples of some good cops. Because, look, we don't say things around here like, all cops are bad. That's like saying all white people don't use washcloths. Hey, you're not supposed to laugh at that in public, ABL. Now, I've been to a few barbecues.
Okay.
I know. But anywho, you know, look, man, I went to school with a guy, and he's my age, early 40s. Man, he played defensive tackle right beside me. In high school, he was cut like a rock. He's a cop around here to this day. He still looks like he was cut out of a rock. You know, I had a buddy in high school. His brother was about 4 years older than us. He turned out to be a state trooper. He was a real solid guy. He wasn't no 400 or 500 pound waddler, man. And he took a lot of heavy stuff off the street, and I mean pounds of it. And, you know, just right after Christmas in the apartment complex I live in, there was somebody that barricaded herself in up there with some rifles and was making some threats, but it was just himself. And it took them about 4 hours to get him out of there. Nobody was hurt and everything okay. And those guys had the scene under control. And, you know, the two cops I could see, they looked like they could have bench pressed in front of the SUV they showed up in. It looked like they was in real good shape. So there's a few good examples for you. And, you know, I just wanted to show that out there. I'll tell you one more thing before I get off here and let everything keep rolling. You disappointed me tonight, ABL. At the beginning of your show, you're like, I want to talk about a man from West Virginia. I thought I was going to get my big shout out, and then you said Joe Manchin. I thought he's going to say my name.
Right.
Oh,
we're waiting for it. It ain't happening.
Well, I'll tell you what, bud. I've had some laughs with you tonight, so I'm going to let you go. Everybody, God bless and have a good evening.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye, bud.
Love West Virginia. See, yeah, that's like my man talking on the phone. That's like how it is when I go back, visit my family. You hear that a lot. So shout out to my man calling from West Virginia. Absolutely. Yeah, I saw that too. Hey, Rick B, 400 or 500 pound waddler. Hey, I'm using that one, man. If you hear me now, I'm using that, the 500 pound waddler. I'm because you get the visual, right? He wasn't no 400 or 500 pound waddler. You get the visual of a 400 or 500 pound. Because some of these officers, I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm not saying you gotta look like Lou Ferrigno out there or Wesley Snipes when he was in Blade or Jason Momoa, Aquaman, but come on, man. Come on. You are one hamburger away from 600 pound life. What kind of crime are you going to be fighting on the streets? Okay? Push away from the table a little bit because you're over the red line. The red line done already been broken. You a little bit too past that threshold. So, yeah, tighten up if you are 400 or 500 pound waddler out there trying to fight crime in the streets. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL?
Not too much.
It's JB Scotchman from Oklahoma. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's all good, man. What's happening?
Man, I'll tell you what, dude. The news this week is crazy, and I can tell you were pretty fired up tonight, you know, and I am too. I mean, some of this news is really, you know, pissing me off. You know, especially the new freaking White House press secretary, whatever her name is.
Karine Jean-Pierre?
What is it? Yeah, Karine Jean-Pierre. Yeah. I am so sick of the government lying straight to our face, because that's exactly what she does. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. You know, I mean, they're lying straight to our face, you know, without even any kind of, I don't know. I mean, I'm sick of it.
Nah, man, I'm with you. I hear you.
Yeah, exactly. It's gotten to a point where the Democrats, I mean, this Democrat Party is so anti-American. It's not even funny anymore. You know, for a while it was like kind of comedic, but now it's like, no, you're messing everything up. You know, gas is up, food's up, everything is up. I mean, this is, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, man.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
All right, man. You have a good night, brother.
All right, same to you.
Yep.
All right, shout out to the caller. And thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, let's go ahead and get to... Okay, hold on. 773, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, man, I didn't expect to get on, and I'm cooking and everything. How you doing tonight?
Oh, it's all good. Can't complain about yourself.
Pretty good. I want to ask you a question. You said that Johnny Depp kind of looked nuts himself, and I know that Johnny Depp, he seems to overindulge in drugs and wine and stuff like that, but do you think he would like ever actually hit her back?
I mean,
when she attacked him?
I don't know about that part. I didn't see all of that particular part of the trial. I just was I heard some of this stuff like so hold on. I don't know if you heard this part about the finger where she cut his finger off.
I just heard about that today.
So
and I thought that was weird. You have a severed finger?
So she cut his finger and then he put it into some, he put his freshly cut raw finger into some black Sherwin-Williams paint.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that was weird. I just heard about that today.
Stuff like that. It's like, come on, Captain Jack Sparrow, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, that is weird. It's just like, bro, like you're worth millions of dollars. You need your finger, and like that's not good for a severed finger. Go take care of that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that he never actually seemed to, in my opinion, he never really seemed to have hit her back. I always thought she was the craziest one in the relationship. He's definitely offbeat. I think that plays out in a lot of the characters that he plays. So I just kind of want to get your opinion on that. That is crazy though. But another thing I wanted to ask you about was, do you think, and you know, I know sometimes you can't say certain things on YouTube. Do you think that like the shootings that are happening, or do you think they're all coincidental? Because you have, you know, the young boy in Uvalde, like how did he get that equipment? Then you have the other boy, he's around 18 years old, and somebody just put me up on something called MK Ultra. So do you think that these things are playing out at the same time because they're trying to, the world is trying to do something like, you know, of course, Trudeau, he just said he was going to get rid of all of the handguns. Then Biden's decrepit self, he comes out like, oh, 9mm can take out a lung, like, which it can't. Just saw a Jericho Green video where he showed a bullet, and it looks almost like a 380 bullet. It's not a really big bullet. So do you think that everybody's just kind of teaming up like, all right, we got to get these guns up out of here because we got to do our thing? Like, or, you know, maybe I'm just kind of out there.
I mean, it's possible. I'm not going to just put that beyond possibility. But what I will say is that I don't know about, I think what's going on is there could be more accomplices to this stuff. Just like with the whole thing in Uvalde. I don't think necessarily that he was by himself because, again, they're talking about, oh, he had a part-time job. Okay. Like, how do you have a job? You're able to get 2 Daniel Defense rifles, all this ammunition. You're spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. That's not common for an 18-year-old young man to have. So maybe there were others. They're talking about he was in the chat room with a lot of other people, and he logged into it like that day or the day before, and there was like 12 people inside of it. Like, it wasn't just him by himself. So I think the thing to look at here would be people that could be connected to it that you don't see.
Okay. All right, then. Well, I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I did not expect to get through. I was literally like frying up stuff like I'm never going to get through. Before I go, I thought it was funny that you made the hey big head reference to Amber. Elon Musk. I'm like, no, this man did not just say hey big head.
Hey, because that money, money coming in, you got to get it. You got to do something.
Yeah, I guess so. She gonna have to use her looks for something because she ain't gonna get no more work. And I mean, Elon got the bread, but I don't think he's gonna shell it out towards that. He's too busy fighting Twitter.
That's right. Exactly.
But all right, man. It was nice talking to you. You have a pleasant night. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. 404, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 404, hello.
Hey, what's going on, ABL?
What's happening?
Hey, this is Raymond, man. Not much.
All right, man. What's going on? What's
the show?
Okay.
It had some great callers. We just had a few comments about everything that was being said.
Are you on speaker?
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, it was kind of muffled, but I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, just want to talk about a couple of comments on some things that y'all been discussing. But with the whole Amber Heard, Johnny Depp case.
Yeah.
I think that's a win for males, for domestic violence, because it is real, and people tend to downplay it. So I think that's good that the jury saw Amber for who she was. So.
Oh, definitely, because like you're saying, the whole thing with the male abuse, it tends to get swept under the rug. It's not really a big deal, et cetera, et cetera. But this case really highlighted that, and it's not just always so cut and dry where it's like, oh, the man, he's the bad person, he's the aggressor. Sometimes there's a lot more going on.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Nobody really knows all the circumstances that's happening in a relationship or a marriage.
Right.
But yeah, just big ups to Johnny Depp on that. And then I also wanted to make a comment about the whole gun situation and what happened in Texas. It's crazy how the left, they always want to blame the gun as the reason why these shootings keep on happening. But like some of the other callers said, it really comes down to mental health. Like, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Exactly. That's the thing. They're focusing on the tool because they want to put bans and they want to restrict the tool, but not the people, because that's not their objective. But the reality is the person, the people, we should focus on them. That's the ultimate goal. That should be the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Mental health is real. And that's the thing that pushes people over the limit, to want to go out and do things like this. I'm a military veteran, so I know plenty of brothers and sisters, who suffer from mental issues, PTSD, and things like that. So, I completely understand the situation when it comes to that. And I wish, both sides of the aisle would just really, come together and say, yeah, we know that that's the issue, because that it is the issue. But, everybody has their own political agendas and whatnot, and they want to try to just throw whatever they can in there to try to, solve the situation. But throwing stones at something, but it's not having any effect,
Right.
But yeah, I think they just need to really sit down and be real about the situation. We could throw $40 billion over to other countries, but what about our security? What about the issues that we're facing over here? It's pretty embarrassing for us to be struggling. We can't even have baby formula for kids. Like, are you serious?
Right. Now I'm with you.
It's just ridiculous. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say, man. I love the show. I watch you all the time, so I appreciate everything you do. Just keep it up.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's go to 256 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL? This is Blaine from Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Man, don't know. I love the show, first time caller, but hey, look, I just want your opinion on. Sorry, I want your expertise. Let's say, the Uvalde shooting. All right. All we hear, obviously, from the left is gun control, of course, but they keep screaming this background check. But every gun I've ever bought in my life, I've got a background check on. What are they wanting when they say more extensive background checks? What are they asking for more than a normal background check?
I think what they want to do is put guns on the registry. So when you buy a weapon legally, they're going to put it into a federal database, and they want to know where you live. They probably want more data from you. So then I think ultimately they want to try to do a gun confiscation. So then, okay, they know where your guns are. They know who you are, your name, your address. They come to your door. All right, Mr. X, Y, and Z, open up. We know you have this gun, and that gun here. And if you have any more guns that are not registered, then you got to get arrested because you got those unlawfully. That's probably going to be their next step.
Maybe I'm too simple-minded for this. I feel like that step of it of confiscating all guns would be extremely hard. I know where you're going with this, and I'm right on cue with you. I promise you. But to confiscate all guns, I think is crazy. It's not reality. But I don't want to be involved in all this whole database either. And like I said, we're on the same page. But I just wondered what they meant by more extensive background checks when I've had a background check for every new. Obviously, I've bought several guns from friends, but as far as brand new guns, I always get a background check, and I've been arguing with people that I've had background checks on every one, on every new gun I've bought. Why do they want anything more extensive? It doesn't make sense. But I guess you're right. I guess they've got an agenda at the end of the day that they're trying to make. Anyway, man, well, I appreciate it, bud, and love the show.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right, brother. Bye.
Yeah, the whole thing about background checks, they want to do something more extensive. They want to go beyond that because, see, again, they're playing on the ignorance of the average American voter. People don't really understand that you got to get a background check normally when you get a gun. You go to a gun store, you're going to do a background check, usually. It's a little machine right there. Put your information in. It kicks back. You can get your gun, you can't. That's typically how it goes. Okay? They think you could just buy guns on Amazon and get shipped straight to your house. They don't understand the way these things work. So when the media say, let's get background checks, they're not talking about background checks. They're talking about, it's just like the whole thing with the whole anti-lynching bill. If Rand Paul votes against the anti-lynching bill, people like this guy, Charles Booker, can say, oh, he doesn't want to see black folks be protected from lynching. First of all, anybody getting lynched. But second of all, what's in the bill? Same thing with a so-called universal background check bill. What's in the bill? Confiscation, registry, all types of security things, and magazine size decreases, and like what's really there aside from the name that attracts the average normie to it, not knowing any better, not thinking about how to really research and figure out what's going on with it. $256 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, this is Greg in Alabama. What's going on, man?
It's all good, man. What's happening?
Not a lot. What do you think Roger Staubach thought when he found out how close he came to losing his Heisman Trophy down there at Navy and possibly a start position for the Dallas Cowboys? Reckon he went, woo, that was a close one.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the trial I'm upset about is the Sussman trial. I can't believe that guy walked with all the evidence they had against him.
Yeah, but can you say you're surprised?
No, but that's what I was trying to tell you a week or two ago, that all these institutions on the left have it covered, man. I mean, even if we get in there, they got all the other bases covered, and they're just going to hammer you down like they did Trump.
And the way they have them, it's like a lot of personal connections aside from politics. It's politics and personal. I think.
Yeah.
I forget what the connection was, but Merrick Garland. It was okay. I think it was one person that was. I forget, but Merrick Garland had officiated a wedding of people that were involved with the trial. You see what I'm saying? It's like that's kind of how DC is.
Crazy, man. Well, you're not going to get no justice there in D.C., that's for sure, unless you're on the left.
Right.
Well, that's all I had, man. Enjoying your show. Appreciate you taking my call, and I'll holler at you later.
All right. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ABL.
I got to find that particular tweet I'm looking for. Yeah, I think Merrick Garland had officiated a wedding between people that were on the jury it was like you got a lawyer married to a juror and Merrick Garland officiated the wedding. It was something like that. If you guys can find that, or if you know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments. 515, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Lori from Iowa.
All righty, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, I just love you. And if you've already talked about this, just let me know. You don't have to be polite. I just retired from teaching, and I wanted to talk to you about the school shooting situation. But what I wanted to talk to you about is what we did for our intruder drill. And I haven't heard of other schools doing this, but you might know about it. We had our police come in, and we took a whole day where the teachers learned the drill, but they showed us the statistics about the most deaths that happen is when kids are hiding in their rooms. So we learned that when there's an intruder drill, we do it completely different. We get the kids and we have them running outside, and they just keep running, and we have a meetup place that's like a block away that's a church, and we have the kids throwing things, we have the kids screaming, we have teachers are going to get the fire extinguishers and spray, we're going to get our bug spray and spray, we're going to do everything to make it chaos, because instead of him being able to startle us, we want to startle him. And they said that it's so easy to shoot a sitting duck. If their kids are just sitting in the classroom, it's so easy for the shooter. But if we're running, it's harder to hit a moving target. And when we were with the police testing this, they actually had the teachers, we did it both ways. We did it where we would find hiding places in the room, and they had these guns with these little things that just, they didn't sting as much as a BB, but they would sting a little bit if they hit you. And so we would run and find a hiding place, and then we did it a second time with people just running and screaming, and hardly anybody was hit who did that. Have you heard about any kind of training like this?
I've not. It's my first time hearing about it, and where you're describing it, it makes perfect sense, because it does make sense for a child hiding in the room in one spot, not moving, to be easy target, because, and especially like a lot of these guys are not sharpshooters, they're not really trained that well, so they're not really going to be able to hit you when you're moving. And it's the same thing with just even if the person is trained, not really going to be able to hit a moving target like that. So to create chaos around the person rather than the person being in charge of the chaos, that is a very good strategy.
It made me, as a teacher, feel like I had a chance to keep my kids safe. And I forgot the other thing I was going to say. It was it was something good, but anyway, I was just going to, I was going to tell you that I was afraid that the kids might be afraid when we were teaching them about the drill, but we just explained it calmly and rationally, and they understood. And then we actually did a practice with them. And the principal went on the intercom, and we told them that we were going to practice so they wouldn't be afraid. We said, this is a practice. And so they just started doing what we told them. They started making noise and running out the door. And we had the police there who blocked off the block that heads to the church, and so that cars wouldn't be driving down there. And the kids ran there, and then the teachers would, in the basement, find their group of kids and get them all accounted for. And it just made so much sense to not be sitting there, to not have my kids sitting. I just felt like we had a chance of, surviving when a lot of kids don't, by just running and causing chaos. And I haven't heard that much about it. And I thought, well, I'm going to call you because you have a national audience, and maybe there's another teacher out there that might hear this idea. But it did come straight from the police, and it came from a lot of people doing studies, because they showed us the statistics of the schools where they hid. It was traumatic. In fact, Columbine actually, and it was just by luck because the shooter started out in the cafeteria, so everybody ran. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And then it was the shooters that were in the library where the teacher kept saying, stay down, get under the table. And there was another door there. If she would have just told them, run out the door, just run. But those were the ones that were killed, were the ones hiding in the library. The ones in the cafeteria where they started, they made it out safely because they just ran.
Right.
So anyway, I just would like other people to start studying this, because our children are our most precious resource, and we have to be doing whatever we can. And they can do it. Kids can do this. They can run. I think it's a lot easier for them to know how to do it, to be trained how to do it, than to be sitting there afraid. So
makes a lot of sense to me. Makes perfect sense. Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
I love you, ABL, and I love your chat group. They're the best.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, bye-bye.
That was very good. I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, because naturally when there's a shooting that happens, like if it's outside of like a school environment, people run. Like, the whole club thing, club let out, boom, boom, boom. Everybody going to run. Anybody just going to sit there. People are going to run away. Now, somebody may get injured from shrapnel, or maybe somebody might get shot, but the chances of somebody dying in that situation where people just scatter, I think is reduced. Is definitely reduced. If you create chaos around the shooter, you overwhelm the shooter, that's probably a good thing to do. All right, let's go. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's F&A Ranger Xbox. How you doing, brother?
It's all good, man. Can't complain.
Oh, yeah. I have to agree with the teacher about the chaos and running. It's not going to do you any good to sit there and hide behind a desk when they're coming in a room. I told my son, break out the window or open the window, break out the screen, and just go and try and help your classmates out and get out. Go.
Right.
Anyway, Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, put out a short on YouTube tonight or today, I think, from Davos. And guess what, ABL?
What's that?
I hate to say it, but they want to bring the China model of government to the Western world. Oh, my God. If I had only thought about that, like 2 years ago?
Right.
You heard me say that on your show many times, haven't I?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. I thought maybe I was going nuts, but Charlie Kirk in Davos, he said the Chinese are all over that place. That's what their goal is. And let me tell you something. They don't care about our kids. They don't care about us eating, the food shortages, the gas, everything our government's been doing since 2013 when Hunter Biden came back with $1.5 billion from China on Air Force Two to buy off our government. They have been doing because China, our government is the best government that China can buy. And they bought them and they're working on it. The rhinos and Democrats are lockstep. And all these people that think it's going to be great, the only equity of outcome a government can promise you and deliver on is that everybody except for them is going to be bone-crushingly poor. And they're going to reduce the Earth's population if they get their way. All these clowns that sit there and say, you don't need weapons of war. Well, how the hell how in the world are you supposed to overthrow a tyrannical government unless you got equal firepower? And it's still subpar. I was in the military, trust me, an AR-15 ain't got nothing on an M16A1 or an M60. Nothing.
Right.
So, but the Johnny Depp, I like Pirates of the Caribbean, but you know what? I could care less about Johnny Depp. I don't wish him any ill. All the best to him, whatever. I'm sorry you're in that situation, but honestly, all that right there is a distraction for the weak-minded. They blow it up on the media, so you're not paying attention. You're not bothering to search what's going on in Davos. Because let me tell you something. If these people fully understood what they had in mind, it would be a bloodbath on them. What these elites, they're fake man-made global warming, CO2. Can anybody scientifically explain to me how CO2 changes the atmosphere? I know how water vapor does it. I know how carbon monoxide does things, but plants need CO2 because we've had greenhouses for hundreds of years, and they pump CO2 in to make those plants grow bigger, healthy, greener, faster, and more productive with the CO2. So can somebody explain to me how the Earth's not going to do what the Earth's going to do? I mean, we're just a bunch of parasites. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, I think that a lot of that stuff they talk about is just to push their particular narrative. They'll just say things that don't make any sense. They don't have to really prove it because how are you really going to demonstrate that in real time? They just say things to get the narrative across.
Well, it's like the transgenderism. They don't really care, but if they can get you to believe that a man can be a woman, they can get you to believe any stupid, idiotic idea that comes down the pike. I mean, a 3-year-old boy or girl knows what they are. It's these parents conditioning them.
Right, exactly.
Because it's the new cool thing. Oh, I got a transgender child. Oh, look at that, sitting right next to my new Porsche that I crashed while driving drunk while 80 years old.
Right.
I'm sorry, my Nazi Pelosi. Her family and Newsom's family were Baltimore crime families before they moved out to California, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I do one thing before I sign off?
Go for it.
I got to do my Forrest Gump imitation.
Okay.
I am not a smart man, Johnny, but even I know you don't aggravate Mike Tyson. And I'll leave you with that, brother.
Thank you for your call, man.
All right, you take care.
I know.
Bye.
All right, man. Shout out to my man for the call. You guys are fantastic. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. 773 on the line. I'm speaking to.
ABL, it's your retired Chicago policeman friend.
All righty, man. What's going on?
ABL, I hope you can hear me okay, too. First of all, the right to bear arms is mostly, besides protecting yourself from criminals and whatnot, mostly it's to protect us from a tyrannical government. That's really why it's written in there, the right to bear arms. And that's why you don't want to give that up, because it's a slippery slope. I also think that you are exactly right. You know, more background checks. What they really want, they want to use it as a tracking device to track everybody's firearm. That's really what they want to do. So they can go backwards and do exactly what you said. Come and knock on your door or do, in some creative way to get that firearm out of your arms once they deem it that it's illegal to have. That's what they want to do. It's a tracking thing.
Absolutely.
Also, go ahead.
Now, I was saying absolutely, that's what they want to do. But of course, they won't talk about the tracking part out loud. They won't say that. They'll just say, "Oh, it's a background check. It's nothing really major."
Right. As you said, for people that are ignorant to it, the mass amount of people that might be ignorant to it, that's exactly what they want to do. Now, people might say, well, that's a difficult thing to do. Well, it's difficult because, people might, take that as an aggression, and it is a firearm, and they might defend themselves against something like that. But here's the thing. I never thought that people would lose their jobs because you don't want to get some vaccine that, in my estimation, is still under, is still kind of classified as experimental. But people did lose their jobs for that. Teachers and policemen and, people that didn't, waitresses, so it is a possibility.
Right.
Now I wanted to talk about the hot potato on the table, which is the mass shootings. And here's what I wanted to say about mass shootings, if I could.
All right.
I've seen it personally, some of these things. Mood-altering drugs, and you touched on this before. Mood-altering drugs is made to change your mood so that you're no longer depressed. But, it helps some people. But drugs like Zoloft and Xanax and Prozac, these are very, very dangerous drugs. And, if you drive a Chevy or a Dodge, you know how many cars have to mess up for them to admit that they put a recall on that car? Thousands and thousands of cars have to mess up for them to recall a car. Do you know how many people had to have suicidal thoughts for the drug companies to admit in their own ads that you may have suicidal thoughts, and if you do, contact your doctor and stop the drug? Well, here's the thing about suicidal thoughts. Suicide is murder. It's murdering yourself. And to me, that's not that far from homicidal thoughts. Of course, they would never say that word, that you might have homicidal thoughts. But it is still murder. Suicide is murder of oneself. Homicide is murder of others. They don't know how these drugs affect people's minds. And more, I'd love to see a study on it, because they did admit that guy in Las Vegas, he was on some of those psychotropic mood-altering drugs. There are people out there that are, they're serial killers. Well, serial killers are, social misfits that kill, one or two people at a time. They might kill 100 people, but they do it one or two at a time. But mass shootings, where you just start shooting at people, that to me, especially if you're on those mind-altering drugs, those mood-altering drugs, you might never get to the bottom of them because drug companies have a huge amount of money. But I would say that might be something to look at. Because even a guy like Robin Williams turned pain into brilliant comedy. But he killed himself once he went on those mood-altering drugs. Once he started taking those mood-altering drugs, suicide seemed like an option. So, those drugs are very, very dangerous, ABL. And I know you kind of probably agree with that. But I won't take up any more of your time. Maybe you can give a few thoughts on that and a few comments on that. I'll hang up and listen to you. But always a great show, ABL. And I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Very good call. Yeah, those mind-altering drugs are a problem. Now, have you guys heard about that pregnant woman that got shot in Kansas City? And there's like BLM is right there on the ground trying to talk about it. Shout out to Andy No. We got a picture here. So his caption says, "The latest BLM hoax narrative about a police shooting in Kansas City." And look at this right here. So I guess that's a pregnant woman And she didn't die, by the way. She got shot like 5-6 times and didn't die. She's fine. Hey, that's that BT 5000 right there. But anyway, look at that right there in her hand. So maybe she got shot because she was armed with a gun. I mean, like, what's going on? And she doesn't look too pregnant right there. I'm not saying she's not pregnant, but I'm saying they're talking about like she was obviously pregnant and she didn't do nothing. I mean, like, what are we doing? Right? So, and then here's what Occupy Democrats put out. Breaking: a witness reveals the Kansas City police shot Leona Hale, a pregnant, unarmed black woman, 5 times as she was running away from them. She has been hospitalized with serious injuries but remains stable. Retweet to demand that the police be investigated immediately. Unarmed? What's that? What's this right here, though? It's like a whole handgun right there. Unarmed? I can't tell. See what I'm saying? So it's always stuff like that. When somebody asks me to comment about a thing like that, I'm always like, let's wait a minute. Let's wait a minute, because there's always more to the story. It's never just the end. There's always more to the story. Is the baby okay? I don't know. I think so. I did not hear about the baby being injured at all. All I know is that she got shot and she's in stable condition. I don't think the baby is deceased or anything of that nature. 440 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, it's Tiana. How are you?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I know there's a lot of attention on what happened in Texas, which was absolutely horrible, but are you aware of the World Economic Forum meeting last week?
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Did you also know that the Biden administration in January signed the pandemic treaty, which gives the World Health Organization basically rights to lock everyone down in every country who signed onto that treaty if they deem it a pandemic?
I've heard about that, but my thing that I've said about that is, it's like, okay, they can sign that, but Americans are still armed. You still got 400 million guns in the hands of American citizens. So if they try to do something like that here, I don't think it would really go over very well.
I agree that it won't go over very well. But just the fact that our government has the ability to hand over our nation's sovereignty is beyond scary. Thinking about the UN coming in and going door to door, like you were just saying with the last caller, and taking away weapons and imprisoning people. We have the January 6 people who are still in prison without having court dates. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really concerned about that, though. I think that's something that won't happen.
I'm prayerful, so I'll stay on a positive track with that. My question to you is, with everything that's going on globally right now, the coming food shortages, the crash in the stock market, and just the uprisings that are happening in America, what do you feel that we should be doing in regards to communities to kind of prepare ourselves and each other for what's happening or what's going to come?
Well, I would just say, there's preppers out there that kind of, they're ready. They have their food, ammunition, things of that nature. Just be ready for anything. Just like any kind of disaster that may come about, like a natural disaster, like a weather event. Be prepared that way. Just be ready. Be ready to protect yourself. Be ready to feed yourself for a short period of time at least. But the most important thing would be to protect yourself. And that's why this whole thing about trying to confiscate guns and all of that's going to be a bad thing, because the weapons are going to be the most important thing if society has if it falls apart, so to speak. You got to protect yourself first and foremost.
Absolutely. Final question. Who would you like to see run in 2024?
I like Ron DeSantis a lot. If I can get Ron DeSantis and Rand Paul to run, I want it. I like Trump still, but Trump, unfortunately, is going to be, I think, 78. I'm not sure that he would want to run. It might not be fair. And also the media had already put out so much negative stuff against him. I think it'd be best to get DeSantis and then a guy like Rand Paul. That might be kind of a stacked ticket. If I can get DeSantis or Rand Paul, I will vote for them personally.
I would really like to see Josh Hawley run. A Hawley Gates ticket, in my mind, would be a really, really good, solid ticket.
Okay.
I do like DeSantis for what he's done for Florida, but I think that if he were to leave Florida and run for the presidency, I think he would leave Florida in the lurch, which is why I wouldn't want to see him run for president in 2024. But I like that. All the callers have been amazing tonight, as per usual. Your chat is awesome and on fire, and I really appreciate your show and what you put out. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
Have a good night. Bye.
All right. Great call. Let's go to 815 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony. How are you doing tonight?
I'm well. About yourself?
I'm good. I have something to say, and I apologize because I'm late to the game here tonight. But I have something to say about the, I don't know if I have to talk in code, but the election.
Okay.
Okay. So I watched something on YouTube it was actually yesterday, the Arizona, where True the Vote did a presentation on, the 2,000 donkeys. I'll put it like that.
Right.
Well, the thing of it is that from what I gather, after they did their presentation and they showed everything, at the end of it, they said that within the next 6 weeks, they're going to have something more explosive, which I don't know what that is yet. But at the same time, with the elections coming up, we can already see that things are going wrong in, let's say, Georgia, other states. Things still aren't corrected. And, all these problems that we're having right now, until we fix that, nothing's going to change. So that's my main concern. And, I think it's our duty as a country to, what I want to say is everybody be on alert and, what I'm trying to say is things have not been right for many decades. So it's our duty to, be alert and watch out what's going on and get more involved in our election systems. They have been, they've been messed up for eons. I mean, decades. And, if we can't fix that, then there's not going to be any change. So that's my main focus tonight is, everybody to be on the lookout and watch out, watch your polling stations, watch the drop boxes. Everybody do their part and, be on alert because they're still trying to steal it. And until we get that corrected, nothing's going to change. That's just my 2 cents about it.
Well, I thank you for your call. I appreciate you.
No problem. Have a good night.
Same to you. All right. Why they call you online? I'm speaking to
Anthony. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. About yourself?
Did you receive my email that I sent to you?
I got a lot of emails. I'm not really sure I got yours. I'm sorry.
Okay. So let's talk about the school shooting.
Okay.
Do you know the Peter Arredondo, the police chief in the Texas? Do you know him?
The police chief? I know you're talking about, yes.
Yes. So he is the one who ordered the police informants to do nothing for the straight 1 hour to let the guy Salvador Gomez to kill the children. That is the problem. And also he is a demon god donate money to the AdBlue to the beta male, which I mean beta.
Okay, so he's a Democrat guy, donated to ActBlue and a Beto supporter.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, the shooter Salvador Gomez, right? I mean, the FBI know about him. He is environmental person. He has been in prison 3 times. So he already in the FBI blacklist, but the law enforcement do nothing and let him do the killing. And also when he tried to check to the elementary school, the police law enforcement they did cause up to his church. And they recover one of his guns and after that, when he gun away with his gun, the law enforcement they let him to reload his armor for straight 12 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, they let him to reload his armor on his gun for 12 minutes and do nothing. Let him do the killing.
So
and
was it? So
only
wait.
that,
So wait. Was he still shooting the whole time? Was he still shooting the whole time when the police were there?
Oh, before he commit shooting, he upload his armor.
Okay.
He upload his bullet. Also, the police, guess what? They let the officer save their own children, but not save the rest of the children in the school.
Okay.
So after that, there is you do know there is a off duty for the agent, like he borrowed a shotgun from the barber and he killed Salvador Gomez. He used Second Amendment to kill the mass shooter, and he able to save 10 children, include his own daughter.
So did he kill the mass shooter or was it the police?
He did kill the mass shooter, the off-duty border agent. He used the Second Amendment to kill him.
Okay.
Yes, I must say this. I must say to you, this is the fact side up. And also remember when I tell you about the Omar on the Swiss account who provoked the test, who provoked the New York Buffalo shooter. So yes, so there is evidence that Omar Kai also provoked Salvador Gomez.
Okay.
Yes. So this is the side up, and this is why you see the rhino, the turtle McConney, and the Hart Graham with the demon god like just come out. They try to pass the new Tiger gun control law, which will take away the Second Amendment right of the citizen, without any like convict criminal or without any help. Without
Yeah, they're trying to remove the Second Amendment through all the things that they're doing here, and that's not really going to work. But I got a few more calls I'm going to get to before I get off. So thank you for your call, man. I appreciate you.
All right. Let go, Brandon, and the shot must flow.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Shout out to the caller. Thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoyed what you are hearing thus far, if you enjoyed the show tonight, please give the video a thumbs up if you have not done so already. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Also, this is a podcast you're listening to, and it will be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, Eastern time. It'll be available on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, what else? Stitcher, Anchor, etc. Links for that will be in the description box, or just search on those platforms for ABL Live, and I should pop right on up. If you're listening to me on one of those platforms right now, please give me a 5-star rating or review, whatever you can. I most certainly appreciate it. Like you guys know, I can't do anything this show without you. I got top maybe like one, maybe two more calls, and then I wrap it on up, put the boat clean on top. All right, Tyler, what's going on?
Man, he reminds me of Red Pill Barista. Classic right there. Hope he's doing all right. But anyway, boy, Joe just proved again this week he really knows what he's doing talking about those guns, don't he? I mean, the 9mm, I always looked at that as just, kind of a little token gun. But anyways, and I see up there in Canada, Trudeau, he's now taking our culture and using it to his advantage. What do you think?
I think, yeah, they're definitely doing that. They're kind of like a California, but as a whole country. That's their whole motto.
Yeah, he's culturally appropriating the United States and pretending that Canada's got a gun violence issue.
Right, exactly.
They literally have no murders. I mean, it's amazing. The main thing I wanted to talk about tonight is if you think, or maybe some of the people listening might think, it would be a good idea to use our National Guard and our reservists. When I was in the Marine Reserve, we had 14 days of active duty and 2 days a month. Some of those, if that was split up, could be used to guard the schools. You think that could be a alternative to what we're doing now?
I mean, that's definitely something that could happen. You could do that, or I think probably the best way to do that would be to have because to have the military patrol schools might be a little much. So if you have some of these guys that are retired, or not retired, pardon me, veterans, have them employed by the school as a civilian to patrol the school. That'll probably be the best way.
Yeah, I was thinking just for like a shock and awe factor, to kind of let these freaks know we're not playing around anymore.
Yeah.
And then the wildest thing to me is when you hear people that, try and make sense out of him. I mean, the man shot his grandma. There's nothing else. I mean, once you shoot Mamaw, that, there's no coming back off of that. There's no way to try and even get in his mind. He's a lunatic.
That's right.
So, all right, ABL, keep up the good work, my man.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
All right, brother, stay up.
All right, great call. Let's go to 619 online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
It's going all good, man. How about yourself?
This is Eric from California. I just want to talk to you about the Uvalde shooting.
All righty.
I don't know if you remember. This was a little bit after Columbine. There was a string of school shootings. One of them was at Santana High School in California. I went to a school about 5 miles from there, about 15 months after. And I can tell you this, the focus right now on gun control is the wrong focus. There needs to be a focus on how we are raising our children. We have sat through these COVID lockdowns with no eyes on our kids. That's a problem. We are seeing that in this rise, not just in violence, but among the youth from 18 to 16-year-olds. We are seeing that. It's playing out. You played out over Memorial Day weekend. It's a tragedy. We have to be better. The focus on guns is quite honestly ridiculous. You remember Jack the Ripper from London?
Yeah.
He didn't need a gun, did he? He used a knife.
That's right.
You look at England nowadays, their violence is up. A lot of places, violence is up. It doesn't matter, gun, knife, it's human aggression. What is the cause of that aggression? Is it because we've been apart from too long? And we just need to, get back together and figure it out?
I think that's
where
definitely...
is the mentorship on the youth? That's where the focus needs to be. What are your thoughts on that?
Well,
and thanks for taking the call.
Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate you. But I think there's definitely, like I was saying earlier, a lot of the mental health is being worsened by all the drugs that are out there. Not just recreational, like, street stuff, but also big pharma. People are being over-medicated for things, and children are being over-medicated. You got a hyper 5-year-old boy, and you put him on something to calm him down. It's like, well, he's 5. He's supposed to be hyper. That's what a 5-year-old boy does, is go outside, play, and jump around, and it's what they do. When you put them in an artificial state with these mind-altering substances, and they're on that for a while, why is it a surprise when they get to be 18 years old and they want to do something crazy?
I don't disagree there. I think, though, that you look at this Uvalde shooter, right? Who shot his grandmother? Where was a father figure in his life to teach him right from wrong? Just to ask him and question him, why are you doing that? Why are you thinking that? What is your goal? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the mentorship?
Right.
We as adults have to do a better job of mentoring our children and raising them. Not just your kids and my kids or anybody else's kids, but collectively as a society to teach kids the difference between right and wrong, good and evil, however you want to put it. If you leave it up to the kids, if you leave it for them to sit online for 2 years, and then, from what I can tell, this kid was bullied. He had the nickname school shooter. Where is any adult in that? What have we learned after Columbine? It's been over 2 decades since Columbine, and we still have communities that can't spot this. Where was the school resource officer? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different questions to ask other than, he had this type of gun, let's demonize it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I'm with you.
It's about figuring out what's the root of the problem. And at the root of the problem, I think men in this country need to take responsibility for how we are raising our children collectively as a society. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, you may take your kids to football practice, right? And maybe there's a father who gets hot under the collar for whatever reason, right? But it's about being able to have those conversations that can allow a better sense of wisdom to prevail.
Right. No, I'm with you, man. But thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Hey, thank you, Tiffany. You have a wonderful evening.
Thanks to you. All right, that will be a wrap for me. Thank you all for being here. I couldn't do it without y'all. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. Shout out to the mods for keeping the chat nice and clean and on track. And thank you all for watching, sharing, viewing, super chatting, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Insta Snaps, chats, wherever you at. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Could not do any of this without you. I got a few super chats on deck. I'm going to read those right quick. And then I'll wrap it on up, put the bowl clean on top. I'll be back live again on Saturday, of course, always. Wednesday and Saturday, I'm here live from 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. Let me see. Let's go back here. Okay. Thank you to I Beat That Boy. It looks like a picture of Adrian Broner, the boxer, who says, ABL, can you do a reaction to the Yuri Bezmenov interview? He was a former KGB agent and actually predicted everything that is happening now in the 80s. I've talked about that video quite a bit on this channel. I may need to do a video specifically reacting to it. So that's a good suggestion. I may do that. Thank you to Crazy Painter 1000 for becoming a member. Thank you to Uche and Frank. Did I say that right? Who says, hey, ABL, this is the funniest Johnny Depp joke on YouTube by a kid, guaranteed, at Uche and Frank. Okay, I'll check it. I'll check you guys out. Is this a is it like you guys that have it? I'll check you guys out. Thank you to the anti-view who says, since there are no differences, softball will now be overhand pitch for the baseball. Women's hurdles will now be placed at 3'6", not 2.9. Discuss how discus will now weigh 2 kilograms, not 1 kilogram. We can go on and on. Exactly. Thank you to the anti-view who says javelin 800 grams versus 600 grams, hammer throw 7.2 kilograms versus only 3 kilograms. Women's basketballs need to be 1 inch bigger. Yeah, the basketballs are very small for the women's basketball. Water polo balls need to be larger. Also, women will be expected to do the steel bars and gymnastics. Hey, good luck with that. Thank you to Anthony McQuaid who says ABL purchasing the 1776 Betsy Ross Navy flag this weekend for my brother's birthday. Shout out to you, man, and thank you for checking out bhedesigns.com for your beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me, or whatever you want, like the Betsy Ross naval flag. Thank you to Sienna who says we need to agree on Article V compact. Thank you to Dieter Andrew, hopefully I said your name right, boss, who says, or Dieter says, grow up here, my man, and call Springfield, Illinois radio brother Frank McNeil, where he refutes all what you say. Support Lily Tank Williams of New Hampshire. I have no idea who that is. Don't support that person. Frank McNeil, who is that? This person have a YouTube channel? Thank you to Fauna Faye who says, been watching the Depp trial since day 3, and I've been hoping for this outcome except for the fact that she got $2 million. Ask me, she deserves nothing. Also, Fauna Faye says, so they banned H3H3 for that comment he made for 1 week, but won't ban Cynthia G for demonizing black men on a daily basis for no reason. Hey, Fauna Faye also says, isn't it funny how Pelosi's husband got arrested for DUI after she proposed some perks for a congressional liquor store? Hey, you already know what's going on. They love drinking. Fauna Faye also says, are they still showing Vax commercials where you're at? Still got them here. They're reinstating mask mandates in Philly and New Jersey schools. Dieter Andrew says, chew on this. $1 billion in $100 bills weighs 22,000 pounds. Biden gave that times 85 to Taliban. How much weight in $100 bills have you paid in life? Thank you to C. Baltz who says, go listen to Maverick Wave 2.0. All right, we're not going to be doing that. Well, I'm not. I think I've seen you before, but let's not do the music promotion. Let's ask me about that. I'm sorry, Dieter. Maybe I don't know everybody. Good grief. Maybe I don't know everything. Shoot me for not being some omnipotent presence. And thank you to the anti-view who says, have you seen, quote, Bowling for Columbine? Yes, I have. If not, a reaction video 20 years after would be amazing. I might have to do that. I think that's a Michael Moore documentary, isn't it? Yeah, back when he was doing good work. Now I don't know what he got going on. He need to do a diet challenge or something. But anyway, you guys are the best audience anywhere in the world. I'll be back live on Saturday and all throughout the week doing pre-recorded videos. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.